Oh, what is happening down here? Oh, hello, glitches. Oh, this is what happens when you Alt-Tab, apparently. Don't glitch. Why do you do this? Don't glitch. What happens if I go into settings and navigate? Oh, okay. Oh, no, it's still glitching. Okay, 1 second. A good start. It's great. Good. Welcome everybody to the stream of the back screen. Hey, now we can listen to the song at the beginning. That's exciting, huh? Huh? You better come. It's probably gonna get all kinds of copyright now. It's probably talk or something. Anyway, welcome back to Cinderella Phenomenon. I try to talk real loud over it. I played a bit of this a couple weeks ago, and now I'm playing more of it. What else? What was I gonna do? Oh, I was gonna bring up the chat on my phone. Yes, that's what I was doing. Very catchy song. The last time we took one pathway. This time we're gonna try to follow somebody else's pathway. I haven't decided who yet, so it'll be up to you to decide when we get to that point. Let me... Oh, what am I doing? Finding the chat. Wait, that's weird. How come when I go to the stream it just shows me my old stream? Why is it not showing me the new stream? Oh, there we go, now it is. No, wait. Yeah, okay, now it is. That was weird. Anyway, yes, welcome. I am trying out my chat. Okay, there we go. This is working. Anyway, yeah, sorry the stream was a little late. Well, I think it was just a couple of minutes late. But I was, it took me longer to set stuff up than I anticipated. I hope that chat that comes up on the window is big enough. It's kind of hard to tell. Hopefully it is fine. Anyway, let us begin the game again, shall we? I think I just want to go into start. No, it's okay. Once upon a time in a kingdom far, far away, things happened with crystals and witches and fairy tales that we already know. I don't really want to... well, I guess I can definitely skip the... because we've definitely seen... Ice Princess. I think we could probably go all the way up to the point when she has to choose whether to go left or right. I think that's the first choice we get. Which will happen soonish, I think. Let's see if you get a bad ending. Welcome to the stream, Warden Magician. Yes. Well, I haven't managed to get a good ending yet. So... Alright. Shall we go left or right? Last time we went right. I have been left before. I'm not sure what I should choose now. What would you like? Give me a direction. Do you choose left? Or do you choose right? Also, let me know if I'm out of sync or if the levels are wrong. They should be alright, but just in case. What does this say? Good sun. Good? Or is it 6,000 tons sun? I don't need 6k ton sun. You don't have any suggestions, any preferences for left or right? Hmm. Right? Okay, here we go. Thank you. Hey, this way! No time to talk, princess. We already saw this, though. So let's just keep going until we get to another choice thing. Do I skip? Should I skip it? We saw all this already, so I assume I can just say I have no questions. Skip. So this is how you truly feel. Oh wait, what just happened though? I'd say it's a good thing you're not a princess anymore, because he's never seen his family happier. Okay. Let's go ... You hate me. You have no right to start acting the victim now. Not when you've treated my family with such disrespect. Oh, I got a thing. The only reason I didn't say anything before is because Emma Lane didn't want me to. I'm happier too now that you're gone. I don't have to pretend to like you anymore. Oh, alright. Oh. I'm going to return to the palace now. Okay, bye. I'm gone and they're all happier. Your very existence has been erased in the palace. They've never known you. That doesn't mean they're happy without you. Even the king. What did I expect? Why did you bring me here? I think we saw this. Ooh, I think I threw the tray at him last time, right? Oh, I don't know. Let's try throwing it again. Okay, so we saw this last week. Ah, yay, it was the right choice. And then this happened. Okay, now, who shall we go for? We did Karma last time. I have done Rod before, but I could show you Rod's or try to get a better ending with him because I got a bad ending when I did it. Or we could go with Rumpel, who I know nothing about his storyline. I think I might do Rumpel. Yeah. I can do Rod at some other point as well. Yeah. Okay. Rumpel. I suppose I can ask Rumpel. Even, enough girls seem to like him, so he might have sound advice. I find Rumpel in between his orders and pull him aside. He looks oddly relieved. Ah, Princess, you've saved me. Saved you? From a heinous overload of work. I am pretty sure Rumpel does less around here than me. At least I finish the work I'm given, unlike Rumpel, who gets distracted by every single thing. Dear Noct, if you've called me here, then you must want to confess something to me. What? Perhaps you'll confess your undying love for me. I scowl at him and cross my arms. I came to ask you for advice, but perhaps I'll ask someone else. You came to ask my advice? Rumpel stares at me, clearly shocked. I guess it is because out of all of the people I would ask, he probably seems the least likely. Then I will assist, my sweet princess. What kind of advice are you looking for? Perhaps you'd like to learn how to make a man swoon, or how to stroke the embers of the heart. Is flirting the only thing that is ever on his mind? I came because I want you to teach me about goodness. Goodness? But my sweet, all of the advice that I just suggested would teach you just that. Being romantic would not teach me how to do good. Rumpel dramatically places his hand over his heart. But being romantic is good! Don't you see the smiles on the lovely ladies' faces when I speak with them? I cannot imagine why they smile like that. Rumpel's persistence is annoying. To be romantic and unloving. I mean, to be romantic and loving. That is the epitome of goodness. Show someone affection and they will return it twofold. I can only stare at Rumpel as I wonder why I even decided to ask him. Or you could just be kind. Everyone is kind in their own way, princess. So what do you say? Perhaps you would like to practice on me? I'm sure your smile would brighten up my week. No, I'm certain of it. I have work. I quickly turn and leave before Rumpel can continue. If I have to be romantic to earn a good deed, I'd rather be cursed like this forever. Rip? Oh, rip. Sounds familiar. I stare in horror at the floor. This is... I think we've seen this before. Yeah, we've seen this before. Alright, back to Rumpel. I find Rumpel taking a break at one of the tables. Surprisingly, he is by himself and not surrounded by the usual blushing ladies. You're not surrounded by a flock of ladies? You must have done something to offend them. Rumpel looks at me, the surprise apparent on his face. Princess, have you come to mend my broken heart? Excuse me? I was speaking with a lady here only hours ago, and she told me that she was betrothed to someone else. That happened hours ago, and you were still sitting here? Rumpel places his chin on the palm of his hand, looking very tired. Most VNs have auto-skip already read text. I don't know if this game has it. I think with this game, it's like the skip thing won't show up if you have... Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, the skip button doesn't show up if you haven't seen it. Yeah. Good point. Rumpel places his chin on the palm of his hand, looking very tired. In mourning, the heart is a fragile thing, princess. Won't you help heal my shattered heart? Rumpel stares at me when I do not answer. That would count as a good deed, you know. Helping you would count as a good deed? Doing things out of the kindness of your heart is a good deed, princess. The kindness of my heart? Why would I want to help you when you've done nothing for me? Oh, it's so terrible. Kindness isn't a thing that needs to necessarily be returned, princess. Single instances of affection can make a heart lighter. I mean, not latter. What does latter mean? Why does he always go through the trouble of making his words sound so much fancier? I would not help you mend your broken heart because that would be an act of stupidity, not kindness. Rumpel's shoulders slump as he frowns. Ah, now my heart is even more fragmented. You suffer from a broken heart every day you are rejected. Of course, because to pour your heart out to someone only to be rejected is a cruel fate, princess. You probably deserved rejection, what with the way you flirt with everyone. So no, I'm not going to help you. Deal with your own broken heart. Oh, that's so mean! Oh. I turn around and walk away. The ex Rumple puts on are annoying. A month has passed, and I have yet to complete even one good deed. Not for any lack of trying, though. Oh, it's still this. Just kidding. Haha. I don't know why these are still locked. Maybe you need to get a good ending in order to unlock one of these. But anyway, we will go with, wait, where's Rumple? Rumple? Chapter 3, The Flatterer. The Flatterer. I do not know why the first person that popped into my head was Rumple. Just because he puts a smile on ladies' faces with his flirting does not mean he can help me do a good deed. And yet, here I am. I find that, see, that's the strange thing about Olivier. There's just something... as much as his antics are, like, annoying and stupid, there's something that just, you can't help but love him. I wonder if... I'm expecting Rumple to be the same way, but we will see, I guess. I find Rumple on break, surrounded by a few giggling ladies. His hands make dramatic sweeping gestures as he showers them with compliments. And you, my sweet, are like sunshine peeking through the clouds on a dark day. You litter the ground with so much golden light and make every flower reach out towards your warmth. On second thought, maybe I should reconsider. Princess! Rumple notices me, however, and immediately waves me over. Ooh. I think I should turn and walk away. I think with Rumple, I should play hard to get. Because everybody else fawns over him, right? Sort of. I think that, like, then he has to chase. I imagine that he likes that. I don't know. Yeah, let's turn and walk away. Yeah, let's do that. I just remembered that I said... Oh. I just remembered that I have something to do. I turn around to start walking away, but I'm immediately stopped when I feel Rumple's hand on my shoulder. Ah, that's what I thought. Oh! I slap his hand away. Fierce as always. You remind me of a rose with thorns, princess. He leans closer and winks at me. Oh, okay, that's very close. But the thorns are what make the rose so alluring. That's what I thought! That's what I thought. I can see right through you, Olivier. I mean, Rumple. Are you always so persistent? Or do you actually want me to slap you again? Your slapping me is but a small blockade in the road. I would never give up on you, princess. Do you enjoy it when I purposefully try to ignore him? The most brilliantly... I didn't get a thing though, so I don't know. I don't know. The most brilliantly sparkling gems are buried deep within the ground and take much effort to unearth. What? Princess, you are like one of those gems. Ah, here we go. No, I'm not like a gem. Rumple, why would you deal with someone like her? What? Nocta's like a budding flower, and I want to do my best to help her bloom in whatever way I can. Okay, that's... I don't know if you realize what you just said, but okay. You need help in that department, okay. You've come to me for advice, right? Actually, Noct probably does. Yeah. How did he know? I mean, how did he know? How did he know? The look of shock on your face is adorable and so absolutely satisfying. Seems I hit the nail right on the head. Rumple, she is obviously too stubborn to admit that she needs your help. These women are infuriating. Oh, you're very close to me. Rumple leans a little closer to me, and suddenly he is whispering in my ear. Let me tell you something, princess. Making a person happy just to see them smile is definitely a good deed. Huh? Making someone feel important is never a disservice. What do you think? I'm pretty knowledgeable, aren't I? All he ever talks about is doting on people, flirting with them, and making them smile. Rumple continues talking, which is why I will make an excellent partner. I take a step back. Rumple is now looking at me with a triumphant smile. How did you... I'm very perceptive, Princess. You ever heard my conversation with Parfait? She told me about it. She... did? Only briefly. So you're not perceptive at all. Princess, you cannot see it, but I am drowning in my own tears. Oh. You cannot see it, but I'm drowning in my tears. Okay. You just assumed I was going to be partners with him. Just very annoying. I do not even know why I was considering partnering up with Rumple when he says the same things over and over again. And I do not think I could be around him day in and day out. I really hate... I mean, okay, so this game is not... I'm pretty sure it's written by not, like, the people who wrote this. Their native language is not English. But just the... Like, they use do not too much. Just make it... Don't. It's so much easier to read. Anyway, sorry. Oh my, what do I spot here? Dolores appears. I mean, the English is very good, considering, but it's just like, there are like little things like that, and I'm like, ah. Anyway, Dolores appears before us, a sly smile on her face. It's like enough, you two. I'm on a break. That break ended about 5 minutes ago, Rumple. And Princess, I think there's a broom that needs attending. Fine. There's no use complaining. I'd rather get away from Rumple. Rumple turns to the ladies and smiles. My lovely ladies, I will be back later, and I promise that we will continue our conversation without any interruptions. Oh, and Princess. We'll continue our conversation later as well. Oh, I thought that's who you were talking to. Okay. I walk off before Rumple can try to shower more of his compliments onto me. Making a person happy just to see them smile. Can such a thing really be considered a good deed? The days at the tavern go by quickly next week. Princess? That wasn't your voice, but okay. Princess? I can't do her voice anymore. Princess? Oh, yes? You've been staring off into space. I was just thinking. I just finished using Mr. Broom and now I'm helping Anise sort some of the shelves in the back. Rumple has taken up the serving for today. The women always enjoy him, but the men are always glaring at him. They're just jealous of Rumple, I think. Who? The other men. Anise looks over at the men that are glaring at Rumple as he drifts between tables. I'm worried about Rumple too. What are you talking about? You were looking at Rumple with a funny expression on your face. No, I wasn't. My words are clipped, and my voice is cold. Anise looks at me sadly, but I do not care. What I do is none of her business. Her business. I think the girls are jealous of you too. What? I glance around the tavern and notice that there are girls glaring at me. I am not unaccustomed to these glares since people have always looked at me this way. Huh. During the times I left the palace, people gave me the same looks, but this feels different somehow. Why would they be jealous? Because you're Rumple's partner. I'm not his partner. You're not? He's been telling everyone that you are. I never agreed to being partners with him. Sorry, I'm just like cleaning my glasses. As always, it's like just a part of my stream. It's like, welcome to the stream. Let me clean my glasses. I felt your longing gaze upon my back and I've arrived, my princess. Rumple suddenly appears before the two of us, smiling brightly. I suddenly have the strong urge to slap the smile right off his face. We are not partners. But princess, you asked for my advice. Advice that I gave to you because I care. No one else cares as much about you as I. And so I proclaimed us both partners because we are a match made in heaven. You're so overwhelmed with gratitude that you are at a loss for words. If I could throw something at you, I would. A punch packed with as much strength as your love. I can only groan in response. That's so something that Olivier would say. Oh my. Hello everyone. Sounds like you're having fun. How is this fun? Rumple is never fun. All he ever does is spout nonsense. Oh. He doesn't mean any harm, Princess. He's just filled to the brim with so many compliments. And he needs to get them off his chest. Well, he can go direct them at one of his many other adoring fans. I shift my gaze to Rumple and furrow my eyebrows at him. Or do you only direct them at me because you enjoy how much I ignore? I only wanted to help, Princess. That's what partners do, right? But we are not partners. Let's try this partnership out, Princess. I promise it will be worth your while. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, Princess. You can always change partners. Lady Parfait! You've broken my heart! You're very good at healing your broken heart by now, Rumple. Oh! Anyway, I'm sorry to interrupt. I only needed to speak with Annis to make sure that she doesn't need any help with a particular list. A list? A list of herbs. Or, me. Annis has been nice enough to gather herbs for me. Lady Parfait, is this about your body? I thought they said booty. Is this about your booty? What's wrong with your booty? What's wrong with your body? Nothing to concern yourself with, Princess. My body is just a little frail because of the burden on it. That's right. Parfait mentioned having to bear the Crystallum Lucius. A thought occurs to me as I look at her more closely. Wait, couldn't you use magic to heal yourself? To heal yourself? Parfait shakes her head and sighs. I don't have the ability to heal. None of us do. Except for one particular witch who calls herself the Witch Doctor. Of course she does. Witch Doctor? Something wrong? Rumple shakes his head and gives her a wistful smile. That name just sounds familiar. It's likely you heard about her from someone else before. Humans do know of her existence after all. A witch? She's not a fairy? For some reason I had thought fairies would be more likely to... I had thought fairies would be more likely to heal people, not witches. She is indeed a witch. That is what they say. Though I have never met her myself. She is the only one who can heal illnesses with magic. She doesn't associate with other witches though and keeps to herself. Nobody has known where to find her for a very long time. Suffice it to say, we could never seek out help from her, even if we wanted to. Parfait shakes her head. No, unfortunately not. Ah, why is my drink almost empty? Ah. I was not prepared. I did not come prepared. For shame. Hope we have to get another drink at some point. Rumple looks grim, but Parfait quickly dissipates the gloomy atmosphere with a clap of her hands. If Delora was here, she would say, "Alright, story time is over." Oh, sorry. Alright, story time is over. That was all very interesting. Interesting. It doesn't really help anyone. Doesn't really help anyone. See how much easier. Your body is the way that it is because of the Great War, then. Like I told you before, World War I has made my body a lot weaker. This is something that cannot be healed. And I don't have an heir, so... Parfait looks about ready to say something, but goes silent. She has a sad look on her face. I don't understand why. Annis immediately speaks up. I think I'll be okay, Lady Parfait. I was actually going to go on an errand run in a few minutes. Do you need any help? I would be more than happy to escort a lovely lady like yourself around town. Annis pulls a list out from a bag nearby and holds it out. There are only a few items on the list as far as I can see. Don't worry about it, Rumple. It's not that much at all. Rumple stares at the list. His expression suddenly smooths into something more serious. May I have that? Annis hands him the list, and slowly he takes a pen out from his pocket. Out from his pocket. I stare as he looks over the list quietly, and then scribbles some things down on the bottom. Afterwards, he hands it over to Anis. I've added some things that might be helpful. The herbs on that list are for joint pains, and you might want something a little more general. How does he know all that? Everyone is staring at Rumpel with wide eyes. Even Parfait looks impressed. You've used herbs before, Rumpel? Maybe? I don't remember. But for some reason, names came to the top of my head as I was looking at the list. Thank you. It is always my pleasure to help a lovely lady. Now, Anis, please let me accompany you to town. I would love to help with whatever I can, and more names might come to me. Look at his face. That sounds nice. Thank you, Rumpel. Rumpel turns to me, a mischievous smile on his face. Mischievous. I really don't know if... Yeah, I think you can say it both ways. Whenever he looks at me like that, I know he's going to suggest something ridiculous. Princess Noct should accompany us for the experience. I do not need experience. How are you going to shower people with compliments if you know nothing about them? Being out in town will be good for you. Rumpel has a point. The more you expand your world, the more willing you are to learn more about people. I do not need to be lectured. Oh, Princess, it wasn't meant to be a lecture. I'm just letting you know that experience is invaluable. Come on, Princess. Let us escort the lovely Anis around town. What about your work? Rumpel puts a finger to my lips. And grins. No one seems to have thought of that. That would be our little secret. Okay. I slap his hand away, but he just grins at me jovially. How did I get dragged into this? Please, don't stay out too long. We won't. I make my way into town with Rumpel and Anis. The majority of the conversations we have are one-sided, with Rumpel giving us both the usual compliments. Never seems to tire of it. Rumpel helps Anis pick certain herbs and a few other medications and accepts all of the compliments she gives him with a triumphant smile. I know Anis knows about herbs because she's helped me before, but how does Rumpel know so much about them? This must be a part of the past that he doesn't remember. Anis enters the store by herself at one point, leaving me alone with Rumpel. I'm a mysterious man, aren't I? I turn to look at him and notice the easy smile adorning his face. Oh god, look at that smile. A man with amnesia is full of secrets, after all. I bet you're even more curious about me. Women always love mysterious men. Yeah, we love mysterious men. I don't particularly care. But Princess, if my curse is my amnesia, then shouldn't you care somehow? As partners, we're going to help each other out, right? I don't see how I can help you with your amnesia. Maybe this is a spell that's only broken by true love's kiss. Shall we see? He leans towards me with a playful smile on his face. I'm accustomed to this behavior by now, so this does not faze me, and I merely sigh at his nonsense. You already said yourself that you need to gather entries from some kind of journal. Ah, Princess, you're no fun. A little kiss wouldn't hurt anyone. I would die before I kiss you. Princess, that's so sad. He says that, but he's still smiling. Why is he so unfazed by everything I say to him? Good question. You only ever have terrible suggestions. It was a mistake to trust you might have good advice. But I have great ideas. You haven't helped with my curse at all. I've been trying, though. You haven't even told me how to get a good deed. I told you before, Princess. Compliments make a person happy, and making a person happy is a good deed. So you flirting with women and using shallow compliments on them is a good deed? On the surface, the compliments may seem shallow, but if you swim a little deeper, complimenting people cannot be a good deed. But making them happy is. All you have to do is listen to people, sympathize with them, maybe get to know them, and you can make them happy by doing even small things for them. Women enjoy the compliments, Princess. Because all women are the same. Besides, how could I see such beauties and not compliment them? It would be a disservice. You give compliments to people you don't even care about. Princess. Rumple's voice trails off as he stares past me. His smile falters for a few moments and a look of confusion ripples his features. Because I had my cursor here, I thought this said nipples. Look of confusion. Nipples, his feet, because that makes sense. I turn to follow his gaze and see a small boy staring at us. He is shyly hiding behind some kind of notebook. There's that seriousness again. It was the same thing that happened when he added something to the list for parfait. Then suddenly the expression changes into... It's funny because Olivier does the same thing. He has that, like, those moments that's like, wow, you sound really normal right now. And then he's all, you know. Then, whoa. What noise is that? Oh, a low-flying plane or helicopter or something. At like, past midnight. It was raining really heavily before. It was wonderful. Oh, it sounds so good. And suddenly the expression changes into Rumple's usual bright smile. Hello there. Would you like to come and speak with us, young sir? Oh. You don't remember me, sir? Oh, do I know you? I used to come to your clinic. You saved me before. The boy draws closer to us, still hiding shyly behind his notebook. Ah, I'm sorry, little sir. I'm afraid that my memories are a bit scrambled right now. I can't even remember my own name. Really? Where's Annis? Why is she taking so long? The last thing I want to hear is a conversation between Rumple and some child. Is he going to shower this boy with compliments too? Oh, can he not? Because that would be really awkward. Can you? Why are you even thinking this, Noct? Stop that. It's a shame that I can't remember a boy as bright as yourself. Okay, he's going to compliment. It's really awkward. And there it is. I'm not that bright, sir. Not as bright as you. But I want to be. He holds up his notebook, which has a small name scribbled in the corner. The words "My Dreams" are written on the front cover in cursive letters. What's this? I want to be just like you when I grow up, so I started a book of dreams just like my mum told me to. She said I could become a doctor too, so long as I tried my best. A doctor? You forgot that you were a doctor, sir? Oh. Rumple? A doctor? The boy continues to hold out the book, and finally, Rumple takes it and flips it open to the front page. Rumple is holding the book close to his face so I cannot see it. I rise to the tips of my toes and attempt to look over his shoulder. At first, Rumple does not notice me as he stares at the page. Then, belatedly, he realizes I am there and lowers the book so that I can read too. I lean so close to him, our shoulders brush. My eyes scan over the page quickly. The handwriting is crude, barely readable. I actually expected him to move the book away from me, not make it so that I could read it better, and that's cool. Or interesting, maybe. Not cool, but interesting. The handwriting is crude, barely readable, actually, but I can still make out the gist of it. Rumple slowly reads the words aloud. When I'm older, I want to be exactly like the kind doctor that saved me when I had no one else to go to. The boy's face flushes as Rumple reads his words aloud before his curious gaze lands on me. I don't remember you. I look at the boy, irritated. Are you the doctor's wife? Rumple suddenly looks up, eyes wide. He looks down at the boy, then at me, his face suddenly solemn. I'm surprised by the words that leave his mouth next. Yes, she is. Oh. Takes my hand in his and looks down at me, an almost sad look on his face. What is wrong with him? Pull my hand away or slap him? Oh, I don't know. I think I just pull my hand away. I think slapping is too harsh. There's such a strange look on his face. Slowly, I try to pull my hand away, but Rumpel holds tightly to it. The sadness in his eyes becomes an intense anxiety, and I see something like fear dancing in his eyes. 1 second, let me just... I feel like I missed something. Oh, I can't go... Oh, let me look at the log then. Okay, go up, please. Oh, okay. Okay. You really think it was my fault? What? Sir? Rumpel squeezes my hand a little too tightly. He looks at me desperately. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh. Let me go! I finally managed to pry my hand free. Rumpel looks at me for a few moments, almost bewildered, and then his eyes suddenly widen. He looks back at the journal, then at me. Oh, I think I blanked out. I'm sorry, Princess. I don't have a thing! All at once, the sheepish smile breaks into something cheerful again. He's still smiling at me, even though I was so curt with him. Rumpel is so confusing. The boy looks bewildered. Don't worry about that, little sir. This one here is a feisty thing. I deserved whatever she did. So she's not your wife, sir? Rumpel looks a little surprised, and then he laughs. Unfortunately, no. The beautiful lady here is not my wife. Rumpel absently rubs at the back of his neck as he looks up at the sky. I'm not entirely sure of what just happened, but it seems like I recovered something very important today, or the beginnings of something important. Something important? Is he talking about a memory? He hands the book back to the boy, then he leans down and sets a hand on the boy's head. A bell chimes behind us as Annis comes out of the store, carrying a bag filled with what I assume are herbs and medicines. The boy once again cowers behind his book. Oh, who's this? The wonderful little sir that helped me regain a very important memory. An important memory? Rumpel stands, looking triumphant. I, my good lady, am a doctor. Oh, really? Truly. Truly. Rumpel turns back to the boy, who he asks a few more questions. He even asks the boy his name, but much to my surprise, the boy shakes his head. Sure you told me your name, but I don't remember it. It's like my curse. No one remembers me being a princess, and no one remembers Rumpel's true name. Rumpel thanks the boy again many times over and even buys him a few pieces of candy. The boy's eyes are practically glowing with excitement, and he does not stop smiling. After we see him off and start to head back to the tavern, I begin to contemplate. I'm curious about something. Oh? You said that you needed to fill your journal with memories in order to get them back. But the journal you just read wasn't yours. It appears not. It seems that the 3 entries that trigger my memories just need to be written by people I know. Reading them triggers a memory, and then the full entry probably appears on my journal. I ought to check it when I get back. I see. But even without looking into the entry, a memory came to your mind? Rumpel gives a short, distracted nod. It's not complete, so I'm hoping that something really has appeared in my journal. It feels like it must, considering I remembered something so important. Do you remember anything else at all? The young man that we just met, I believe that he used to come watch me. I believe that he used to come watch me work before. I knew him. He used to look up to me. He was a sweet child. The memory is foggy, but yes, I believe something did happen to him. He became ill. Details of how I saved him must be in the journal. Even though this does not pertain to my curse, I'm curious what his journal might say. I can't remember fully, but the memory feels sad somehow. He turns to me, eyebrows knit together. It is strange to see him with such a serious expression on his face. I really am sorry about earlier, Princess. I think I was on the verge of a memory, but then it got tangled up in my head. I'm surprised by his sudden change in topic. I shake my head slowly. He is quiet for a few moments before suddenly his smile comes back, and he laughs jovially, telling us that there is no point in worrying. At the town's outskirts, I turn. I probably was supposed to slap him. Oh well. At the town's outskirts, I turn, feeling eyes on my back. But no one is there. We give Parfait the medicines we purchased in town as soon as we arrive back at the Martin. Then, Rumpel proudly announces that he is a doctor to anyone that will listen to him. Everyone seems happy for him, save for the Martin patrons that find Rumpel annoying, mostly men. Afterwards, Rumpel asks Annis if he might be able to take over the medications for Parfait, if only because Annis is busier than him. Rumpel hasn't been at the Martin long, and he's already found something to help break his curse. Then there's me. I don't think anyone would be able to help me. At the end of the night, when I finally have time to myself, I return to my room to rest. The next day, I am sent right back to my chores. Rumpel is nowhere to be seen in the morning, and Annis says it is because he is tending to Parfait. He appears later in the afternoon, still full of smiles and silly flattery, as he goes back to his serving. How does he have so much energy? At the end of the day, I plop down on the settee to rest. My legs are weak from all the walking I've done today, and I can still feel the tiredness in my arms from all the sweeping with Mr. Broom. Princess? I notice Annis standing beneath the doorway, smiling at me uncertainly. Thank you for your work today. Why is she thanking me for work I obviously don't want to do? It's not as if I've asked to do any of this. But you still help. Annis nervously shifts on her feet. So I just wanted to say thanks. When I don't make any effort to continue speaking with her, Annis gives a nervous little nod before heading back toward her room. Not long after her departure, I hear an exuberant and familiar voice. I shall count my lucky stars, for they are giving me a rare opportunity to meet with my lovely princess this late at night. I should have gone to my room. Rumpel stops before me, winking. The moonlight on your face makes your beautiful eyes sparkle like the most precious gold, princess. I'm not in the mood for your flattery. But princess, flattery is just a compilation of compliments. Everyone loves compliments. Sure they do. I don't care for your compliments. Or Lady Annis's thanks either? He heard that. You should learn to let people spoil you. I stare at him. That is the last thing I've ever expected anyone to say. My whole life I've been called spoiled and rotten, the Ice Princess. Even Delore and Parfait want me to do these good deeds because they think I'm incapable of goodness. I clench my fists and continue to stare at him, not understanding the swell of emotion inside of me. Why is he being so nice to me? Your first lesson is learning how to let people spoil you. He draws back his hand, reaches into his pocket, and presents me with a small yellow bag. What's this? For you, my sweet princess. Do I accept or do I not accept? I don't know, actually. What do you think? What do you think? Because on the one hand, I mean, I want to see what it is, but on the other hand, I wonder if he wants me to not accept, or, you know, like if that would lead to a good thing. Although I already messed up the slaps, so I don't know. Maybe don't accept. It's more angsty this way. First choice was like that, so maybe not. I cannot accept your gift. But princess, my advice... You have no reason to spoil me. Princess, this is what I've been trying to explain to you all day. You don't need a reason to spoil someone. It doesn't always have to be about paying someone back. Rumpel smiles a little sheepishly, then he places the bag in my hand and curls my fingers in. You deserve nice things, Princess. You barely know me and yet you still say that? Barely know you? We may not have known each other personally, but that doesn't mean I don't know enough about you. Yay! It was the right choice. Thank you. I'm giving you this gift because I truly want you to have it. Besides, this is both a thank you and an apology gift. I thank you for accepting me as your partner, and an apology for my behavior yesterday. I don't remember what I did, but both you and the boy seemed frightened. Oh. I like how he's just looking into... What's he looking at? Like my hair? And I'm like looking at his chin. Okay. I looked down at the little bag. I opened it up, and inside is a little white chocolate piece, fashioned into the shape of a flower. Oh, that sounds good! Nom 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 nom. A lily, and then I ate it in one gulp and it was gone. The end. It's not much, but you absolutely must accept it, Princess. Otherwise my guilt would drown me in dark shadows of sorrow for the rest of time. Lilies are my favorite flower. That's why they're like everywhere in the game. You say you give a white lily to someone you enjoy spending time with. Oh, and in floral language they also stand for purity and majesty. He winks at me. Perfect for you, Princess. Why? Why what? Why would you give this to me? No matter what you say about doing nice things for people, I don't see how that applies to me. And why would you thank me for being your partner? I didn't even want to be your partner at first. But you do now? Oh. I'm unable to withhold my surprise. Rumpel raises an eyebrow, then sighs. Princess, you don't trust compliments, do you? Mother always told me that people were two-sided, that they'd say anything to make you believe they were your friend. No. Never fear, my sweet princess. I'll make sure I compliment you until you learn to accept them. It actually does kind of work. Yeah. But... no buts! I derive my happiness from making ladies like yourself happy. The compliments may seem strange to you, but don't worry, you'll see it in time. See what? The connections between people. You assume I'm just a flirt, but I get to know an awful lot about people. It's the reason I can guess so much about you. What could Rumpel possibly know about me? So, what do you think? Are you more attracted to me now because of my mysterious aura or my doctorly sophistication? He leans closer to me, his eyes sparkling. I could be your own personal doctor. Can you not? Can you not say such things? I will slap you if you touch me again. Rumpel pulls back and raises both of his hands in surrender, but the smile does not leave his face. You really are hopeless, aren't you? Do you think so? I thought that the events from today might have proven otherwise. Oh, speaking of which, I read over my journal earlier. His expression becomes oddly solemn. Oh, I read over my journal. Shall I enlighten you? Why would you tell me all of this? Oh, you're not interested? I thought you might be, since I was your partner. If I don't listen, you'll still tell me regardless, so feel free to share. Rumpel sighs as he flips the journal open. Unfortunately, it was not much. The memory began coming together again as I was reading, but a lot of it still doesn't make sense. I glanced down at the entry he had stopped at. Look at the bottom of the page, Princess. I follow his gaze to the bottom of the page and pause, noticing a conspicuous gap. There's no signature, and I always sign the end of every entry I write. I wonder if that might be the final piece of the puzzle. The final piece of your curse? Yeah, because it's his name. If my name refuses to show up in the book, it may very well be the final memory I need to regain. You believe that the signature will be what gives you your true name then? Of course it will! It's a signature! Noct! Can you stop being annoying? I have a feeling that might be... Sorry. I have a feeling that might be the case. It was the first thing I noticed when the entry appeared. That would explain why the boy in town didn't know my name either. And there's... something else. Something else that's missing? The journal entry is cryptic at best. Vague. Almost like an incomplete puzzle piece. I stare at him, not understanding. Seriously? Slowly, Rumpel begins to explain because I'm so fucking dense. It says here that the boy's family rushed him to my clinic. He had a terminal illness that I could not cure. He was at death's door and I couldn't save him. But he's still alive, isn't he? He even said you saved him. Yes, there is a resolution in the journal, but it's not very helpful. I glance down at the journal entry as Rumpel continues to speak. I refused to give up. I knew that there had to be a way to save the boy. I never gave up on my patients. In the journal entry, I described someone who came to help me save the boy. He lifts the book and points to the words, reading them aloud. I met her for the first time tonight. She told me she had some way to help the boy, so we struck a deal. I hope I do not come to regret this. He snaps the journal shut, startling me. Oh, is that what that noise was supposed to be? He sighs as he runs a hand through his hair. That's it. That's it. Someone helped me somehow and I made a deal. I'm assuming this is related to my curse, but I can't say how. Why did you write so vaguely? I wish I could ask my past self that same question. So, in the end, you're still not sure when you were cursed. Rumpel pauses, then shakes his head. I believe it started here. Not the curse, but the events that led to it. There's a reason this is the first memory to be triggered. It's important. For a few moments, the two of us are quiet. Rumpel's curse is a mystery, not because he's hiding it like Karma is. That's funny. But because he does not understand it himself. After a few moments, Rumpel begins to laugh, breaking the silence. I look at him, startled. What's so funny? Oh, it's not funny, it's just... This is all very mysterious, isn't it? And my mysterious past makes me more alluring, doesn't it? Only Rumpel could take such a serious moment and change it into this. Well, what do you think, Princess? Are you drawn into the mystery of it? I have no choice. You'd tell me even if I didn't want to know. If I didn't want to know. Oh, but you do! I can see the curiosity in your lovely golden eyes. And I could see it earlier today, too. Thank you for accompanying me to town. I believe that I only met the boy because you were there to guide my way. We were looking for medical supplies. That boy appeared through mere coincidence. No, it was more than coincidence. It was destiny. Fine, whatever you say. Listening to him is exhausting. Makes me realize how tired I am. And all of these revelations are making my head spin. I'm going to bed now. I'm too tired for this. It has indeed been a busy day. We will continue this enlightening discussion some other time. Yeah, sure. Perhaps. I turn to walk away with the little chocolate in my hands. As I walk back toward the darkness of the hallway, Rumpel's soft voice echoes behind me. Sweet dreams, my princess. Chapter 4. A compliment's value. Oh. You waited, but the children didn't come, did they? They promised they'd be back today. We even crossed pinkies. Promises are futile, dearest heart. But... I told you before, and I'll tell you again. People are selfish creatures. They will always put their own well-being before others. No one does anything selflessly. To put your trust in someone is weakness, Noct. Even those that make promises will only keep them if it benefits them. And you, my sweet, are obviously not beneficial to those children. So they didn't like playing with me? No, they did not. Oh, Rip? Come here, darling. You do not need those other children. The two of us can play together as we always do. I can always trust you, Mother? Of course, my love, even though it totally contradicts everything I just said. Rip. My head feels foggy. Maybe it was because it took me forever to fall asleep yesterday. And then, to make matters worse, I ended up having that dream. Mother, you are the only one I can trust, even though you told me not to trust anybody, and yet you want me to trust you, even though you said not to trust anybody. Right? I slowly slide out of my bed and make my way over to my dresser. The little bag is still where I left it last night. I open it up and let the little white chocolate lily fall into my hand. Is he really trying to help me? I remember his face yesterday and his bright smile as he presented this to me. I slowly run my fingers across the delicate white petals. He couldn't have known lilies were my favorite flower. There is no reason to be sentimental about something like this. It's just silly. I'm about to put the flower back in the bag, but I stop, eyeing it once more. I don't think that's how you spell eyeing. Slowly, I bring it to my lips and bite off a small petal, because I can't possibly just eat the entire thing at once. Nom 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 nom. That's what I would do. It's actually pretty good. I stuff the little flower back into the bag, because that's totally what you do with chocolates, and make my way downstairs. The Marchen is not busy this early in the morning, but everyone is starting on their chores. At least I assume as much when I see Annis and then Walt, who is helping her stack things. Then I hear rising voices and realize that not all is calm. At least I don't have to pretend to be something I'm not. You say you're not pretending when you go around flirting with all of the female patrons day in and day out? You cannot seriously mean all of the drivel you spout. Karma and Rumpel stand on opposite sides of a table, staring each other down. A teacup filled with what looks to be cool tea sits close to Karma, abandoned. Flirting with a lady is not a crime. One day your flirting is going to get you into even more trouble than it already has. I've never had a lady say I mistreated her, not once. I'm sure many could attest to being more than slightly annoyed. You're only jealous that I can speak to ladies without a disguise, aren't you? Karma slams his hand down on the table, shaking it. Tevin grows quiet. Waltz looks over, his eyebrows furrowed with worry. If you so much as make one more comment about my curse, and stop making comments about how I speak. The two continue to glare. I can't imagine Olivier angry. It's scary. The two continue to glare at each other. It almost looks as if Karma might circle the table and slap him. The fight freezes as Julian strides up to the two men. It's too early for the two of you to be already at each other's throats. But he started it. All I did was make a comment. He was the one that picked a fight. There you go again, twisting my words. Julian stomps on the ground. The two men once again turn to look at her. It's my job to break up unnecessary fights, and I will do it. If you two must continue fighting, go do it somewhere else, like the forest, where you can't disturb anyone. Both men turn away from each other, obviously agitated. Oh, also tell me if I'm being too loud, because I can turn the mic down. I'm like closer to the mic than usual, so I can... Yeah. But Mom, he started it. Both men turn away from each other, obviously agitated. Rumpel's expression is cloudy as he makes his way over to the bar to begin helping set the tables. Julian notices me watching. She waves at me with a terse smile on her face. Sorry you had to wake up to that, Princess. I shrug as I make my way over to Mr. Broom. It is like waking up to two children arguing. Agreed wholeheartedly. Julian sighs before looking at me thoughtfully. Maybe you could have a word with Rumpel later. I have no idea how their argument even started, but maybe you can get to the bottom of it. Maybe you can get to the bottom of it. I'm not a babysitter. But I'd heard the two of you were partners. Anyway, hopefully this doesn't happen again. Good luck with your work today, Princess. Julian walks off, vigilant as always. I notice Garland looking at her from the bar, a slight frown on his face. I start working around the tavern, starting first with the cleaning and then with the stacking. Delora makes snide remarks about my slowness as I work, and I try my best to ignore her while occasionally throwing her insults back at her. It's as if she has nothing better to do. The door to the tavern opens and Parfait steps inside with a bright smile. She looks more energetic than usual. I wonder if this is because of Rumpel's medicine suggestion. Later, I manage to catch Rumpel when the two of us are both on break. He looks pleased to see me until I mention Karma. Why were the two of you fighting earlier? What a sad day it is that the princess talks about another man to my face. Just answer me. I was getting ready for the events of today, as always, speaking to the lovely woman who filter in and out of this place, when the beast appeared behind me. That's funny. Foreshadowing. Even his insults are dramatic. Your flirting is distracting me, he proclaimed. Well, your flirting is annoying. But all I'm doing is complimenting women. I'm not impeding anyone's work. I thought that the only reason he was calling me out on such a thing was because he was actually jealous. Should have seen his scowl. And here we go. So I politely told him to mind his business, but he was relentless, and when he continued to insult my demeanor, well, I had to say something back. But I wasn't the one to start the fight. I swear, they both really do sound like children. No doubt Carmen would be blaming Rumpel. Princess, you don't really think I'm so confrontational, do you? I think Carmen's far more confrontational than Rumpel, but it doesn't help that Rumpel always snaps back at him. The two of you are both at fault. But Princess, in the end, you were still having a childish argument. I think that Rumpel might try to protest again, and I'm surprised when he shrugs his shoulders and sighs. Yes, it was childish. Because that man is a child. I roll my eyes. Ah, your irritated scowl chills my heart, Princess. I feel a tinge of excitement. I'm leaving now. There's really no point in having this conversation. The problem between Karma and Rumpel. They aren't children, they can figure this out on their own. Oh, princess of my heart, why must you depart so early? I ignore Rumpel and leave him standing where he is as I return to my shift a little early. Honestly, I would much rather focus on work than Rumpel. It can be just as tiring, if not more. Though, after what happened last night, I don't think he is as terrible as I thought. Huh. Interesting. The days go on and Rumpel and I speak only briefly during our breaks. Every day I eat another piece of the lily because I'm fucking insane until only one is remaining. One afternoon, just before my break, Rumpel approaches me with a mischievous smile on his face. My lovely, okay. Let me try that again. My lovely princess, how are you today? What do you want? Are you okay, Rumpel? Your cold shoulder is enticing. I have one more table to serve, don't bother me. But princess, I've decided I know exactly how to teach you to be good. All of your other lessons have been useless so far. Please, just trust me. To put my trust in someone is weakness. I'm going to teach you how to flirt. What? The first step to flirting is eye contact, princess. Wait, but why are you... Wait, what is... Oh... Rumpel points at my customer, a young man sitting right beside the window. The second is to smile. Smile, princess, because I'm sure you look even more stunning when you do. Then you start a conversation with him. Body language is important. There are certain signals that key men into the fact that a woman is interested in. I think playing with your hair is one, a gentle tap on the shoulder is another. Should have expected Rumpel to spout this sort of nonsense. Princess? The customer's been waiting for a while now. Is something wrong? I noticed the customer looking at me expectantly. He's just some man, the usual customer that I actually see often. Oh, and princess, don't forget the compliments. Make them as delicate and illustrative as you can. I move away from Rumpel before he can muddle my thoughts any further. Already my feet feel like lead. I find myself staring at the man for far too long. The way he stares back at me, his expression so unreadable, suddenly makes me feel more uncomfortable. Do I really have to do what Rumpel says? I stop in front of the man and set down his tray, my eyes still on his. I don't have to follow Rumpel's advice, but for some reason my lips quirk. The smile on my lips, though, lasts all of a half second. Are you okay? I guess I'll attempt to flirt. Oh, it's gonna be... I can feel Rumpel smiling at my back. If this were anyone else but him, I'd think it was some kind of prank. And considering this is the way Rumpel acts all the time, maybe he's really trying to help me. I try to recall how he flirted with his customers before. I couldn't help but notice you were alone, sir. I'm always alone. My heart is thumping far too loudly in my chest. Funny things as Rumpel usually say. Madam, you are the most beautiful thief I've ever met, for it is you who has stolen my heart and stolen my gaze. Your eyes are more captivating than the stars, my sweet. If I could, I would stare into them forever and lose myself in their majesty. You remind me of a rose with thorns, but the thorns are what makes the rose so alluring. All he does is spell complimentary gibberish. I will try to do the same. Oh no! How is it that you would always be alone when you have such lovely eyes? The customer stares at me, baffled. I force myself to continue. Your eyes remind me of the leaves in fall as they flutter beneath the bright gaze of the sun, and... I stop. The words, nothing more than a shallow lie, make me feel strangely hollow. Oh. The man's just staring at me, but he looks uncomfortable. Still, I don't think he's anywhere near as uncomfortable as I am. Ma'am? Perhaps you would... My voice trails off. I bite my lip, so hard I can taste something metallic. Oh, Rip. The man's expression is a mixture of awe and perplexity. I immediately turn away from him and walk off. That went as well as I thought it would. Yep. Rip. My whole face is hot, and I can feel anger boiling deep down inside of me. Oh, good, I got a thing. Oh, princess. Leave me alone. Princess? We're not done. I don't care. I ignore everyone's gazes as I make my way as quickly as I possibly can up the stairs into my room. There, I collapse on my bed and lay there with my arms outstretched. Why would I have ever thought... why would I have ever even thought of taking Rumpel's advice? Hours go by, and eventually I realize it is time to help Annis with the night chores. Now I'm helping her restock some of the bottles that Waltz and Karma brought back from town. I hope Annis does not mention what happened. I hope Annis doesn't mention what happened earlier today. I slip out of bed and head down to the main area of the tavern. The room is mostly quiet by the time I go downstairs. Parfait and Delora are talking to each other at a table. I need to go get a drink. I'll be back in like 2 seconds. Okay, 5 seconds. 10 seconds. Okay. Was it 10 seconds? Was it faster than 10 seconds? Anyway, the room is mostly quiet, but oh yes. Karma passes me by as I walk downstairs. He looks exhausted and oddly frustrated. I make my way over to Annis, who is already putting bottles on the shelves. Ah, Princess. Are you... okay now? I'm fine. Now what did you need me to do? Annis explains how restocking works. He shows me the labels on the shelves and explains that the empty spots are where the new bottles go. It's not a hard job, one I can easily do without thinking too hard. For a while, the only sounds that can be heard in the margin are the bottles clinking against each other. Underneath that is the murmuring between Parfait and Delora. I have no idea what they're talking about. But they look serious, so it must be something important. So, Princess, can I ask what life was like at the palace? Right. She cannot remember working in the palace before. Oh, that's right. That's right, she's the maid that I fired or whatever. I didn't mean to pry. I was just trying to make conversation. I would rather not. Okay. Eventually, Parfait and Dolores stand from their seats and move to another room to continue their conversation. Annis breaks the silence again. The tavern is nice when it's quiet like this, isn't it? You can hear the sounds outside if you open a window. My hands move stiffly, placing bottles on shelves by label. All I want to do is get the work done and then return to my room. It was like this at the old place that I used to work. I was hired by a rich family to be their maid. Their mansion was a beautiful place. You could hear the crickets if you were by the windows on the bottom floor. It seems like her memory's been twisted by my curse, so she cannot remember working at the palace. All she remembers is working for a rich family. It was a nice place, Princess. There was a girl close to my age that had a radiant smile. A radiant smile? She must be talking about Emmeline. The head of the mansion is a really kind man, and suddenly grows quiet, a look of confusion coming to her face. And the music changes. She pauses, and then shakes her. I can't seem to remember everyone that was there, but I'm pretty sure they were all good people. At least, I like to think so. I was just a bad maid. She was. Because of her, Dolores' dress was torn. I was too ashamed to tell one of the mistresses that I couldn't save her doll. Save her doll? Annis looks down, her smile wistful. I was fired on my first day because I couldn't save one of the mistress's dolls. I was the one cleaning her shelves that day. When I went in, I saw a crow had come in through the open window and was pecking at one of the dolls. I shooed it away, but I was too late. The doll had a little rip in its dress, and I was fired for not doing my job properly. Rip? So it wasn't Annis who ripped Dolores' dress, but a bird? Why is this why Dolores insisted Annis deserves an apology? Oh, is this why Dolores insisted Annis deserves an apology? Annis? Oh my god, your name. What happened after you were fired? Lady Parfait found me on the streets. I couldn't go back to my aunt's house, not after what happened. She never liked me anyway. Annis's face clouds briefly with sorrow, but the expression short-lived. I can never forget the day I met Lady Parfait. I told her I would be able to help her and everyone else that got sick. That I can even do all the cooking since I'd been making meals for my father since I was a young girl. I begged her to take me in and she did. I owe Lady Parfait a lot. Why didn't you go back to your father after you were fired? My father passed away a while ago. My mother died giving birth to me. My father was an herbalist, and he taught me a lot while he was still with me. So before Rumpel came in, I helped Lady Parfait with herbal remedies. So you have no one? That's what I thought, but now I have everyone here. The Marchand is my family now. Family? Princess, we're all happy to have you here too. You really help out around the Marchand. I can tell Rumpel's happy to have you as a partner. Oops. Sorry, I got distracted a bit. The memory of what happened. The memory of what happened today slowly seeps back into my mind. I cannot help the irritation bubbling up inside of me. I know he's a little overwhelming, but I'm pretty sure Rumpel's really trying to help you, just like he's helping Lady Parfait. It's not the same thing at all. Huh. The two of us continue working until Annis makes another wistful comment. The place I worked before this, I felt like there was warmth in that gigantic home, but it was stifled. That place isn't warm at all. I speak the words without even meaning to. Annis looks up at me curiously. The king suddenly started speaking to me when Mother died, but it was never enough. Before that, he was cold and distant, and even now he favors his new wife and children over me. There were people, but they all wore fake smiles, and my father was the worst of all. I may as well have never existed to him. Princess, I'm sorry. For what? For existing. You're talking about the palace, right? Yes. king always seems so nice? He put his kingdom before his children. Annis fidgets nervously. I'm sorry. Apologies are not going to change the past. Sometimes apologizing seems like all we can do when we can't change something that's already happened. I think about Annis, who tried to save my doll, and the way I fired her that day. Oh yeah, let me save real quick, actually. Just, you know, in case. Rumpel told me once that all I had to do was listen to people to sympathize with them. Could that also be true for finding out the truth? All I can do to make up for what I did to her is apologize. For sure. I'm sorry. Ah! Annis looks at me, clearly shocked. She stares for a few moments before I scowl at her. Staring is rude. I was... Rip. Why are you apologizing to me, princess? It was for something I did that you wouldn't remember. That I wouldn't remember? Yes. You should tell me. Promise I wouldn't hold it against you. It's not important. Annis's eyes are suddenly downcast, and no matter the attempt, her smile isn't as bright as it once was. I quickly finish stacking the bottles on the shelves. I'm done. Annis turns to look at me with an unusually tired expression on her face. Thank you for listening to me, princess, and for telling me a little bit about yourself too. I feel like I might have said too much. I do not respond to Annis, but instead choose to head out the front door. Annis asks me where I'm going, but I just ignore her. I think about heading to town, but then reconsider. I decide to head to the forest instead. Back here, huh? I make my way to the forest clearing. In the dark, everything feels a lot more comfortable. Here, I don't have to pretend to listen to anyone. I don't have to talk about myself. I settle down on a rock and stare up at the sky. Oh, good, I got a thing. I apologized, but Annis didn't even understand my apology. And even now, I still can't bring myself to trust those at the Marchen. I sigh and find myself speaking aloud. Maybe I am the Ice Princess. Ah, but have you seen the beautiful sculptures that can be made from ice, Princess? Oh. I turn to see Rumpel walking toward me, a broad grin on his face. Ice always sparkles in the sun. It glistens and stands so proudly where it's been sculptured. I stare at Rumpel blankly. He sighs and shakes his head. I'm sorry, that one was particularly bad, wasn't it? He sits down beside me and his grin falters a little bit. Oh, hello. I have no white lilies to give you this time, my sweet princess, but I will offer anything else you would need to apologize for my advice earlier today. I can offer anything. My words, my body. I totally read that as booty again. My booty? I cut Rumpel off as I'm not in the mood for behavior. You're always like this. All you ever do is flirt. Any meaningful thing you try to say is lost in the flattery you constantly give to people. It's shallow. You're right. What? I stare at him. Rumpel is still smiling, but it's not the same confident grin he wore earlier. Somewhere deep in my memories, I remember someone telling me off, just like this. Many people enjoy flattery, Princess, and a lot of people are receptive to flirting, but nothing can measure up to a genuine compliment. But I stand by what I said before, and that making a person happy is a good deed. Look, I'll show you. Rumpel shifts so that he's looking right at me, and I notice that his smile is gone. Noct, of all the women I've met, you are the most straightforward and honest. Many do not have the courage or the confidence to exhibit those qualities. And that's why I admire you, and why I will always take your words to heart, because I know you will always speak the truth. I look into Rumpel's eyes, which still have a gentle shimmer despite the darkness. For a few moments his words float around in my head. No one has ever called my bluntness honesty before, and no one has ever complimented me for it. Rumpel told me before that I deserve to be spoiled. Maybe it's because he sees the things I do in a more positive light. My. You're struck speechless by that, aren't you? You look cute with your cheeks so rosy, my sweet princess. I glare at him, and Rumple just laughs in response. I put a hand to my cheek, suddenly self-conscious. Rumple smiles at me, but it's not the usual playful smile. Right now he looks almost serious. He almost looks serious. Did he mean what he just said? Ask him if he meant it or tell him off. I'm going to tell him off, I think. Why'd you have to be so dramatic when you gave me that compliment? I was dramatic? I cross my arms and Rumple grins at me. I can't help it, princess. I'm dramatic by nature. Compliment is in some ways a performance. So you didn't mean what you said? Oh, no, I did. I swear I did. I was just trying to show you how making a person happy could be a good deed. Complimenting a person on appearances is easier than complimenting them on their demeanor. You have to know a person for that. Oh. Yeah, it was the right choice. Mwahaha. I meant what I said, princess, and I swear that wasn't just me trying to weave spectacular words together. Earlier, I bet you made Anna's happy too. You were spying on our conversation? I would never. I just happened to be making my way down the stairs very slowly. I don't even know what I was apologizing for. No, but you thought you had to. But you thought you had to after you listened to her, didn't you? I listen far more than you do. Princess, you've shattered my heart so many times. There are permanent cracks. But do not worry. The cracks in my heart allow even more of you to make your way into it. Rumple awkwardly laughs when I remain silent. Anyway, there are different kinds of listening, princess. Listening to sympathize is one kind. Trying to put yourself in someone's shoes, trying to understand them, that is one of those ways. Then there is the kind of listening that is shallow. One pretends to listen without ever letting the words into their heart. Words are fickle things. Mother always told me that people lied, that they would say whatever benefited them. It's foolish to trust words. What if Annis had been lying to me? Why would I put so much blind faith in people? Because more often than not, people are good, princess. I let out an exasperated sigh. Sometimes I cannot tell if I'm angry or confused by Rumple. Ah, what a beautiful sound. It was as if the sweet wind itself was gently tickling my ear. I slide away from him and scowl. Your scowl is adorable too, and you have such delicate lips. Right. I'm still convinced that his earlier compliment was just a lie. How can he say something genuine and then slide right back into this pitiful flattery? For a moment, silence falls, and I find to my surprise that it is not awkward being alone with Rumple. Will you accept my apology for earlier? I promise I'll never try to get you to flirt with anyone ever again. Besides, if you flirted with another man and then grew fond of him, I would be devastated. That would never happen. You didn't let me finish. I was going to say that I would be devastated because that would mean that your heart belongs to someone else, and my heart belongs to no one. I will steal it, like a thief in the night. That will also never happen. If not that, then I'll settle with making you smile, at least once, because I'm sure you would shine as brightly as the sun if you smiled. You are unreasonably persistent. Love is a persistent endeavor, princess. A man in love stops at nothing to win over the woman that he so adores. Then you must be in love with many women. Oh! I stand up. I would appreciate you just complimenting me when you mean it. But princess, I mean every one of my compliments. I have no energy to chastise him right now. But at least I no longer have that anger inside from earlier. It's been a long day. I'm going to bed. Would you like company? My God. Ah, I didn't mean... Good night, Rumple. Good night, Princess Noct. Rip. I make my way back to the tavern. Would you like company? Feeling surprisingly light. Still, even if Rumple's words make me happier than I care to admit, he's not doing a very good job of helping me with my curse. I might have to do this on my own after all. Chapter 5. The Doctor! Uh. Oh, sorry, one second, I'm just checking Discord. Okay. What a brilliant day! The sun is shining, the town is full of laughter, and I have my sweet princess here to accompany me. I cannot help but groan at Rumple's optimism. Because we are both sent out to run errands. Because everyone thinks we make a wonderful couple. No, because we're partners. Partners, a couple. May as well be the same thing. Half the time, Rumple says some deep things, but then he says things like that. Like he has two personalities. No, it's not the same thing at all. I take out the list and scour it for the things we need to buy. More than half of it is already crossed out. I glance at the bags Rumple is carrying. He refuses to let me carry any of them, insisting that it would be impolite to force a load on me. That leaves me with list duty. This is a lot more laid back than what I have to do at the Martin. Okay, now we have the general medicine restock for Annis. My area of expertise! Never fear, my sweet princess. I will find everything we need. We already have a list, but Rumple just hums enthusiastically as we continue on our way, and I'm not entirely sure if he heard me or not. We arrive at the little medicine shop in the central plaza. A man exits through the front door, coughing so loudly people turn their head to stare at him. I wait for the man to pass, so that I can open the door to the store. Open the door to the store. But then I notice that Rumple hasn't budged beside me at all. His eyes do a quick scan of the man before he slowly begins to walk toward him. Sir, you're sick. Eh? What's it to you? Even if I was sick, I had nothing I can do if I don't have any money. Besides, not like this will kill me, just a cough. How long have you had your cough, sir? Seems like such a minor thing, but Rumple suddenly looks so serious about it. He looks at the man with his eyes slightly narrowed, as if trying to see past him. It's been with me for more than 3 days. Coughs are pesky things, aren't they? They're usually the last thing to go, but at least they're not deadly most of the time. Even if you can't buy the medicine, sir, there are other at-home remedies that might help with your cough. Boy, I've already tried warm tea. My wife's given me enough of that. Water is good for your throat too, sir. Any kind of steam works too. The cough is ridiculed with mucus, so it'll be easy to expel with steam. If you have mucus in your cough, you should go to a doctor, because that's not good. But, okay. When you can't afford the medicine, sometimes the simple things will help. Coughs stay for a while, so don't fret if you can't get rid of yours immediately. Well, I appreciate the advice. Not exactly what a doctor would tell me, but I'll have to do. Oh, a rip. The man thanks Rumple before walking off. I notice Rumple looking down at the ground, a rather forlorn expression on his face. Is what he said true? About what, princess? About doctors not giving advice about at-home remedies. Most of the doctors don't believe in such things. They always think that medicines work better than at home or herbal remedies. I don't think that's necessarily true. I'm pretty sure my doctors and stuff have always given me, like, advice on both. Then again, I only really went to the doctor for really serious things. Because my mum's a nurse, so, you know, she would just she would give me at-home remedies, so... but also medicine was a thing as well, we always had, so... But anyway, sorry, this is a different universe, so I'm sorry. Medicines do help, but sometimes they aren't necessary. Yet you just gave him advice. Not everyone can afford medicine. Being a doctor means helping people, not taking advantage of their sickness to steal their money. Cough, cough. Money was never a problem at the palace. Whenever I was sick, the palace staff made sure I had the best and most effective medicines. Do you remember what you were like as a doctor? I wanted to help everyone that showed up at my doorstep. Sometimes I couldn't, and it frustrated me. I prescribed medicines when necessary, gave advice other times, and when things would die, I performed small operations. It does seem a lot more serious when he's talking about health. Rumple was silent for a few moments before his eyes lit up once again. Anyway, shall we go stock up on our medicine? I thought you said medicine wasn't always helpful. Because it's not. But I also know that her niece uses mostly herbs and that she tries to handle things without too much medication. She's quite capable. We enter the shop, and in no time at all, Rumple spots the items on our list. We'll use up the rest of our money to buy the medicines and remedies that we need, and then we begin to head back to the tavern. On the way there, Rumple strikes up a conversation again. So, Princess, have you given any thought to what I said before? About what? You've already forgotten? About making people happy. What? You know, you could make me... Oh, you know, you could make me happy right here and now by giving me a kiss on the cheek. I stare blankly at him before walking away. No, thank you. And alas, my hopes are dashed again. When we're at the outskirts of town, I pause and turn around. It's as if I can feel eyes at my back, but I don't see anyone openly staring at me. Is someone watching me? Suddenly I feel warmth in my hand, and fingers interlaced through mine. Rumple pulls me a little closer, expression oddly gentle. Don't worry, my sweet princess. You're safe with me. Oh! Suddenly his face is a lot closer to mine, and I can see his features more closely. It's like the night in the forest, except his face is not marred by the same shadows. There is caution in his eyes, but it's not directed at me. Did you see someone following you? No, I just thought I felt someone looking at me. Better to stay together then. We begin walking again. The two of us begin to head back to the martin. Rumple has all the bags in one hand now. He hums a little bit as we walk. It's remarkably peaceful, so much so that I don't even mind him holding my hand. It suddenly feels a lot safer. I'm so lost in reverie that I don't even notice when we turn and go in the opposite direction. This is not the way back to the martin. On the contrary, it's just a more scenic path. Don't you like the forest, princess? The shafts of light coming in through the canopies, soft blades of grass that tickle your ankles. It's such a romantic place. No matter what he says, this does not lead back to the martin. It is not a scenic path, nor a path at all. Stop walking or keep walking? Stop walking? I instantly root myself in place, and even though Rumple is far taller than me and far stronger, he stops after noticing that I am no walking. Oh, princess, did you want to stop and admire the scenery? Why are you taking me through here? I don't care about scenery, and I don't care about walking anywhere with you. Ah, princess, your honesty really is a treasure. One day I will make it so you enjoy going places with me, not just holding my hand. Oh! I quickly slide my hand out of his, my face feeling somewhat hot. Ah, there's the sweet rosiness to your cheeks. You never answered my question. It's a detour. We were only going to be in here for a few minutes. If you thought you saw someone's eyes on you, it's better to divert their attention away from the martin. And before you say it's dangerous, yes it is. But we're still not far enough away from town to worry about safety. and I believe I can protect you. I got the right thing. Oh. Would you compliment my cleverness, sweet princess? Takes a step forward, bridging the short distance between us, and then suddenly his fingers are around my wrist again. But he does not lace his fingers through mine. Instead, he takes my hand in his, and then pulls it up to his face. Before I realize it, my hand is on his cheek, his hand cupping my own. Oh. Princess, you can trust me. Always, I mean. I can sense that sometimes you trust me. Oh, I can sense that sometimes you trust me, sometimes you don't. But you don't need to be so cautious around me. I shower you with compliments because I believe you deserve them. I tell you that I enjoy being around you because I do. I should be focusing on his words, but all I can look at are his eyes. Oh, rip! What do I need to do for you to fully trust me? Mother told me that people lie. But how can I trust that everything he says is the truth? Perhaps if I stop throwing compliments at you. You would not be you without all the compliment. Oh! What am I saying? I always complain about his compliments. But the thought of a rumple without compliment. Strange. So you do enjoy my compliments, sweet princess? No, What? Words have deserted you? I understand. Being so close to me would have that effect on anyone. Something bright and angry flares up inside of me. Something that I don't understand. Why does the chat have to keep going to top chat? Stop. I pull my hand away from him, scowl on my face. Was it my big mouth again, princess? Come on, let us go back to the Martian. I start walking ahead and Rumple rushes to catch up with me. I clench my fingers and let out a silent sigh. Rumple was being nice to me again, but I always reject his kindness, because it cannot be real. Rip. Days go by. I consider Rumple's advice, but I refuse to flirt with anyone again. But I have no idea how to make anyone happy. And Rumple told me that I cannot make anyone happy without knowing anything about them and listening to them like I did with Anis. But what reason do I have to listen to people? This is so frustrating. Days later, Rumple and I sit at a table waiting for our work orders. Rumple is on the verge of conversation when we suddenly hear Parfait speaking in the doorway. Rumple picks up on the words before I do and rushes over to the front door. He almost looks nervous. Who is at the front door? I excuse myself briefly, telling Anis that I will be back. I make my way over to the front door, and there I see 3 people in conversation. There's Rumple and Parfait, and a very pale man. The pale man looks like death itself, like he might just keel over. I can help him. Rumple. He needs help. He can stay in my room instead. I can even restock the medicines on my own if need be, so please let me help him. There's a desperation in Rumple's eyes that I have never seen before. He looks at Parfait pleadingly, all the while holding the man by the shoulder to steady him. What is happening? Oh, princess, this man heard about Rumple through one of the men at the tavern. He's sick and doesn't have a lot of money to pay for treatment. He came here seeking Rumple. He must have been able to find this place because he was cursed. Doesn't he even have the money to pay? Rumple turns to me with a frown on his face. I've never seen him look at me so sternly. Princess, you remember what I told you before? He was insistent that a doctor's #1 priority was to help their patient regardless of their monetary situation. Take him to your room then, Rumple. I will have Anis assist you if she's willing. No, Anis does not need to worry herself. I think she'd want to help you. The two cut the discussion short when the man starts coughing, a terrible hacking cough that paralyzes him. Rumple steadies him and then he begins to slowly move him toward his room. Don't worry, princess. He'll be fine. What? I can see the worry in your face. Rumple will be fine. Oh, why would I worry about Rumple? Because it's not like you to worry about someone you don't know at all. He looks so alarmed. I've never seen Rumpel look like that before. It is not like him. Rumpel knows what he's doing. I'll let someone else assist you with serving today, so no worries. Parfait comes through on her promise. When I go back to the bar, both Anis and Rumpel are gone. Karma, or Miss Karma, is there instead, looking disgruntled. Waltz would be better at this. Why do I have to help? Because Waltz is busy doing his puppet shows, and Rumpel is helping a sick man. Oh, well, I guess there's nothing to do about this then, other than enjoy it. He flips his hair and smiles brilliantly. Oh, my Naru, what are you doing? Oh. I will attract all of the customers today. Perhaps we should have a competition, Princess. Compete with yourself. I'm really not in the mood for karma right now. Then I shall definitely compete with myself because challenging yourself is important. Karma picks up the waiting tables fairly easily. I notice that he speaks very fondly to the girls, but they're not as receptive as they are with Rumpel. Many times they ask Karma where Rumpel is, and he seems agitated when he tells them that Rumpel is busy. They seem just as irritated. Once my break starts, I meet Karma at the bar. He looks depressed. I guess if you and Rumpel competed to woo girls, he would win. Oh. Darling, if I were to shed my disguise right here and now, I would be the clear victor. That's funny, because of his curse. That's the things that we know, it's funny. Since without this disguise, women would flock to me. It is rather uncomfortable to have every woman in Angel fall in love with you. Oh. You look like you're judging me, Princess. Because I am. If only you understood my plight. Karma and Rumpel may speak similarly, but they are still so different. Karma is the type to complain. Rumpel never complains. He's overworking himself for someone else, just like he went out of his way to apologize to me many times. My heart sinks a little bit as I think of him and Anis helping out the sick man. Rumpel did not even want Anis going up there, so he probably wouldn't want me up there either. I could try to go visit him, or I could go back to my room. Go to Rumpel's room! I think I'll go check on him. Check on Rumpel? I didn't realize I was speaking aloud. I look at Karma, who furrows his eyebrows at me slightly. I honestly don't know how you can stand him as a partner. Why do you dislike Rumpel so much? A lot of things, Princess. But that fight is between us. It doesn't involve you. Wow! Then do not involve me. You have no need to comment on us being partners. Karma looks at me, wide-eyed and a little shocked. Then a sort of knowing comes into his eyes and he smiles. Just a little bit. Yeah, your thing. Yes, I think you should go visit him, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to get him off your mind, would you? Well, he laughs a little before picking up his tray and rushing off to continue his shift. I slowly make my way upstairs, my feet feeling heavy. For some reason, I feel like Karma was right. I make my way over to what I think is Rumpel's door. The door is slightly ajar and I hear hushed voices on the other side. Those voices definitely belong to Anis and Rumpel. I slowly push the door open and quietly step inside. Rumpel and Anis are standing over the man who is covered in blankets and coughing. A series of bottles sit on the table close by. That's interesting because I don't see anybody. None of the herbal remedies are working. We need a medicine for this. Let me just save real quick. I'm sorry, I don't have any more money to offer, Rumpel. Anis, please don't sound so sad. What is my voice? You've already tried helping as much as you possibly can. It's my fault for promising to buy the medicine that we need. I glance at the table where a list is sitting. A beautiful cursive handwriting details everything that the patient needs. Everything is circled except for some medicine at the very bottom that has a star next to it. Is that Rumpel's handwriting? Suddenly, the two of them turn. They both look shocked to see me. Princess, what are you doing here? I came to see how you're doing. Princess, I'm fine, but... He glances down at the man on the bed, and he sighs out a little bit. We've given him what we can, but the one medicine that we need is something we can't afford. Even with the money I'm getting from Lady Parfait, it isn't enough. I walk into the room and glance at the list. I look over at the total for the medicine, then at the coins on the table that I hadn't noticed before. Did Rumple use all of his money for this stranger? What will happen if you don't get this medicine? Without this, the infection will spread and he could... He goes silent as the man starts coughing again. I can read the answer in his eyes even if he won't say it. The man could be in terrible danger. Could even die. Rumple looks defeated. He doesn't look like himself at all. I glance at the coins again, then at the list. Without a second thought, I grab both the list and the coins. Oh, is this stream in 720p? Because it's not supposed to be in 720p. I just realized that. Anyway, without a second thought, I grab both the list and the coins. Not that it really matters, August. It's just nice when I can do this game in 1080p because it's like... It's, because... Oh no, it is in 1080p. Just kidding. I was just kidding. Wait, does that mean that my last stream was in 1080p? Huh. That's right. Anyway. On stream, who goes? Oh, okay. Now I wonder if the last stream was handled very well by my... Oh. I don't know, actually. Anyway, that same thought, I grabbed both the list and the coins. Princess, what are you... Also, welcome to the stream, who goes? Wait, did I say welcome to the stream? Did I say that twice? Anyway. I'll be back. I leave the room, even with Annis and Rumple chasing behind me. I make my way to my room where I pick up the bag of coins that the king gave me when I went to the palace on the day I was cursed. Then I head for the door. I immediately head for the medicine store that we always frequent. I count out the coins that I need to buy the medicine. This will take all of my money. But it wasn't as if I was going to use it for something else. I rushed back to the march-in with the medicine in a little bag, hoping that this is the one that Rumple needs. It is dark by the time I get back to the march-in. I make my way to Rumple's room again and notice that he is sitting on a stool beside the patient's bed looking at him, forlornly. When I enter the room, his eyes go wide. He seems even more surprised when I hand him the bag. Princess, is this... He opens the bag and lets the little vial roll onto his hand. Oh. How did you buy this? I combined your total with the money I had left. Rumple just stares at me, clearly flabbergasted. Then his expression morphs into something softer, something more relieved. He steps forward and suddenly his arms are around me. Oh, okay, that's very close to my face. He grips me tightly, and then I hear his voice in my ear. Thank you so much, Princess Noct. My heartbeat picks up slightly. It's so loud I think Rumple might hear it, but when he pulls away he doesn't say anything. I'll have to thank you for this later, Princess. But for now you should leave. I don't want you to get sick. I'm too dazed to disagree. I nod my head quietly before moving stiffly toward the door. I glance back at Rumple one last time, noticing that he's checking the man's temperature. The moment I leave the room, a flash of light emanates from my chest. I absently touch the glass slipper at my neck, and then pause as I stare down at it. I feel a soft gasp leave my lips when I notice the fragment of a second slipper. I got my first good deed! I bought the medicine for Rumple, but I only added in a few more coins to buy it. So what I did today was considered a good deed? I'm confused, but at the same time I'm pleased that I actually managed to get a good deed. Now I only need 2 more. The next day I go down to the tavern area to begin my work, but I'm there a little early. Waltz is working on his puppets at a table, her eyebrows furrowed in concentration. When I walk in, he looks up at me and smiles. Then he raises his eyebrows. Princess, congratulations! You got your first good deed. I did. I knew you could do it. I nod in response. His praise makes me feel oddly proud. I continue my usual work, keeping an eye out for Rumpel as I work my shift. Never appears. A few days goes by, and it is only after the man leaves, looking a lot healthier and stable than he was before, that I finally see Rumpel. He and the man speak at the front door to the tavern. No, really, sir, I couldn't take anything from you. Nonsense, you saved my life. Wait, why was he... Okay. Nonsense, you saved my life. I need to pay you back somehow. The man is holding money out to Rumpel, but Rumpel just shakes his head. I notice that there are dark circles under his eyes and that he looks tired. I didn't help you for the money. But I insist. That money could be spent on better things, like your family. You may not take my money, but I promise I will pay you back. Your health is all the reward I need, I promise. I can't thank you enough. After the man leaves, I approach Rumpel. He turns to me and leans against the door, his smile still tired but bright. Ah, princess! Come to heal my weary body, perhaps? I would so love another hug. My face becomes hot at the memory of Rumpel's hug from the other day. Ah, the natural rouge of your cheeks is so sweet, princess. It makes me feel infinitely better. And your necklace seems... different? I reach up to touch the pendant. Every time I get a good deed, a piece gets added to my necklace. Oh, right, you helped with the medicine the other day. Of course that was a good deed, princess. It was very selfless of you. Thank you again for that. That man tried to thank you too, but you refused his money. Why? And why did you spend your money on him? Because life is invaluable, princess. No amount of money could ever be more important than a person's life. Even if it's someone you don't know? Yes, because everyone has a life, princess. They have loved ones, families, sweethearts. And if I can help them, I will. And I will gladly spend any amount of money to do so. Okay, fine. But why did you not accept any money from that man? Because no amount of money. You needed that money. How are you going to buy more medicines without any money? Rumpel's eyes widen. He was clearly not expecting me to ask that question. But he said before he didn't have much money, and it was true. I can't take money from him when he doesn't have much of it to begin with. He was thanking you with money. You should have accepted it. Parfait pays you, does she not? Rumpel's shoulders sag when he sighs. Yes, even though I won't accept the money from her face to face, just to sneak it into my wallet. If she does that, why not just accept it from her? I'm trying to make a statement, princess. And Parfait does not seem to care because she sneaks the money into her wallet regardless. Ah, you have a point there. You're stubborn. We both are. Rip! Oh, rip. Now, I have a question. Why did you use your money on that man? You knew nothing about him. Did you do it for him? For yourself? Or for me, perhaps? Oh! Rumpel grins at me mischievously. Even with the tired eyes, I can still see the bright cheer in them. Hit the nail right on the head. Again. You're becoming easier to read, my sweet princess. Well, no matter why you did it, thank you. That medicine was necessary to help that man. I still think you should have accepted money from him. You helped him and did him a service no one else would. You should have accepted his gratitude. Princess, I told you. I cross my arms and frown at him. You're so stubborn. Rumpel's smile falters and he just looks at me sadly, almost guiltily. For some reason, the sight of him in such a state makes my heart sink. Wipe off that frown, you look better with a smile. Rumpel stares at me, shocked. Why is he staring at me like that? You like... my smile? Look at his face! What? I did not say You like my smile? And you complimented it too, princess. You have no idea how much this means to me. Rumpel throws his hands in the air. I resist the urge to roll my eyes at the exaggerated reaction. You get compliments all the time from women. Yes, but none as honest as yours. A compliment is valuable because I know you absolutely meant it. So I will keep those words close to my heart because they are precious to me. It wasn't anything like the spectacular compliments he gives, yet he still looks so happy. You two seem to be getting along. Parfait appears behind us with a smile on her face. Sorry to interrupt, but Noct, Karma is slowly drowning in table work. Would you help her? Yes, of course. Rumpel looks disappointed as I am sent back to the bar, where Karma expresses immediate relief that I am back. Rumpel retires to his room early that day, and he is given the day off. But Delora and Parfait can see the tiredness on his face, just like I can. He does not reappear for the rest of the day. At the end of my shift, I retire to my room. When I get downstairs the next morning, I met with a familiar sight. Both Karma and Rumpel stand on opposite sides of a table, their voices rising in argument. They're fighting again? I happen to catch their words as I walk quietly down the stairs. Who are you to criticize my work ethic when you were gone for several days, leaving me with your workload? It wasn't like I wanted to, and who are you to criticize how I work? All of the ladies I spoke to said that you shower them with compliments. What kind of professional behavior is that? I'm having a hard time believing you're professional with the way that you flaunt yourself. At least I don't flirt with people to attract their attention. Oh. And you flirt with... Oh wait, who said that? Oh no, yeah. And you flirt with them and don't even realize the effect it has on other people. Flattery is not a crime. Just yesterday the princess came to see you in her room, all because you gave her the impression that you liked her. Oh. Oh, Rip. Were you actually spying on her, and you call me uncouth? No, I overheard her say it. And you're wrong. I would never say anything if it isn't truthful. Ah, well, then the truth of the matter is that you must be in love with many women. Because they all seem to think that you'll get down on one knee and propose to them. You say some sly things, Miss Karma, and yet you're the biggest liar of us all. I really can't do an angry Olivier voice. It's hard. At least I don't lie to my partner. Defend Rumpel, I guess? Yeah, I'll defend Rumpel. Rumpel tells me that he never lies. He tells me that he wants me to trust him. But I still find it hard to believe I do want to trust him. I walk down the rest of the stairs and stop at Rumpel's side. Both men look equally surprised to see me there. Rumpel has never lied to me yet. Karma looks up and stares at me for a few moments, looking startled by my sudden appearance. Then he sighs. Princess, the man that flatters everyone doesn't flatter anyone. At least he's not so conceited he flatters himself constantly. He flatters himself constantly. Such a sharp tongue you have, Princess. And you are very quick to jump to assumptions. You two are at it again? Julian stops at the table and frowns at them. Both men glance away from her cold gaze. Karma murmurs something before excusing himself. Rumpel looks down at the table, his eyebrows knit together with frustration. What is wrong with you two? Why can't you just be civil with each other? Julian, you're never here to see how these fights start. Karma's every bit a beast, attacking me for no good reason at all, but with your keen eye you should be able to discern that, right? Flattery won't work on me, Rumpel. And second, I doubt these fights start without any bit of prompting from you. I swear I don't start anything. Karma's just always irritable. He's like a woman during that one time at the Really? Okay. Not everybody gets that, but okay. Yeah, those dots. Julian walks away stiffly, leaving me with Rumpel. I look at him a little irritated by his earlier comment. He gives me a sheepish smile. Thank you, Princess. Yeah, I just lost all, admiration I had for you. Gone. Gone. No, don't you give me this! I don't want this! Stop it! For what? For defending me. I swear I meant what I said. I would never lie to you. I mean every one of my compliments. Every one of my thank yous. You must know that since you came to defend me. Rumpel, sometimes you continue talking when nothing needs to be said. but I'm just expressing the depths of my gratitude. It's not necessary. Such a small thing. Princess, can you give me some help with inventory? Can you punch Rumple in the face for me first? Okay. I'm coming. As I turn away, Rumple waves. I'll see you later, Princess. Who knows, you might get your second good deed. I resist the urge to roll my eyes. Feels like it would be a while yet before I can achieve my next good deed. Chapter 6. Strings of Fate. What a brilliant day! The sun is shining, the town is full of laughter, and I have my sweet princess here to accompany me. Sounds like I'm getting easier to read, too. No, you've just said it enough times that I memorized it. That means you must pay attention to my words. That in itself is a compliment, Princess. It is not. We're on our way to the usual store to restock our medications when a small figure leaves out through the front door. She stares at us with a lost look on her face. Rumple reacts immediately, making his way over to her with a broad smile. She has a face. It's interesting. Madam, I can't help but notice the pained expression upon your beautiful face. Is there anything I can do to assuage your worries? For seeing your lovely face shadowed by such sadness stabs me right in the heart. So many S sounds in that sentence. The woman stares at Rumple, dumbfounded. His smile wavers and he takes a step back, suddenly looking alarmed. Oh, I'm sorry. It's you! Huh? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. This is awkward, madam, but I'm afraid I don't know you. What? Or do I? Do I know you? I'm so confused. I take a step forward and look at the woman flatly. He has been cursed. He has amnesia. Huh? Amnesia? The woman stares at Rumple, scrutinizing him. You do seem different. Changed from before, in any case. Oh. So you knew me before? How terrible it is of me to forget such a lovely face. But perhaps you could help me remember? The usual flirty suggestion is in his voice, but the woman seems unaffected. I can help you remember. You can? It's no wonder I can't remember your name. You have the fairy tale curse, don't you? Who is this woman? You truly don't remember me? I'm sorry. The woman looks conflicted, but the expression is gone as fast as it appears. I'm Bria, your fiancé. Oh, rip! Oh. What? The shock is apparent on my face, but nowhere near as impressive as the astonishment on Rumple's. My fiancé? She has to be lying. How can Rumple possibly have a fiancé with the way that he is? He was barely able to dedicate himself to a single woman for an hour. Bria takes a step forward and takes Rumple's hands in her own. I was thinking it was his wife, actually. But fiancé, rip. Because just because earlier the boy was like, is she your wife? And then he was like, yes, she's my wife. And then he had the memory, so. But I guess fiancé works too. You don't remember holding my hand? I mean, you don't remember holding my hands like this when you took me to the forest and proposed to me? Rumple opens his mouth, but no words escape. He reminds me of a lost dog all of a sudden, his eyes so wide. Bria runs her fingers over his hands. I loved you. You loved me. And I still love you very much. I don't remember this. How can I help you remember? Rumple's voice is faint, but still he tries to smile. The circumstances of the curse tell me that I need to remember through memories and a journal somehow. A journal? A journal? I have your old journals. I can show you the very first love letter you wrote me. Oh, that would be embarrassing. Bria starts walking, her hands still collapsed and, clasped, not collapsed, clasped in Rumple's. I stare after them for a few moments, trying to piece together what is happening in my head. I chase after them, because I'm so dense. What could possibly be happening? Bria enters a house, one that Rumple stares at in awe. When she comes back out, she's holding a journal. She hands it to Rumple, then opens up to the front page, while Noct has a drink. This is a little embarrassing, but there it is. You compiled your letters into a journal. That's convenient, isn't it? Rumple slowly reads over the words, and I notice the strange glazed look come back into his eyes as his expression grows more somber. Just like last time, when he remembered that he was a doctor. Bria turns to me as Rumple is reading, and her eyebrows arch. And who are you? His partner. Partner? We're helping each other with our curses. Don't worry, we haven't had sex or anything. You know, don't worry about that. Okay, your face is scary. Oh, you're cursed too? You poor thing. Bria's voice is flat. She's glaring at me beneath her smile. I see that. It's horrifying. I've done nothing to merit this distrust from her. And I cannot bring myself to trust her either. Bria. Rumple looks up from the journal and stares at her. Yes, sweet? Rumple's melancholy expression throws me off. Last time he was so excited when he realized he was a doctor, but now his expression is heartbreaking. I remember, I did propose to you. What? In the forest when it was dark, You set up little lights around the clearing. We spoke for a while, and then when you got down on your knee, you dropped the ring. It had fallen in the roots of some tree. I only noticed it when a bird came down to pluck it out of the bramble. I had no idea what you were looking for, but I still chased after the bird. And you got the ring back. And you knew. Bria holds out her hand, and I notice a beautiful red-green gem ring on her ring finger. Very nice. It was still charming, though. I laughed for so long because it felt so memorable. Plucking your engagement ring out of a bird's beak. Yep, you're right. Rumple smiles, a little uncertain. In that moment, I feel him turn away from me. He doesn't even realize I'm there, standing with Bria. Why am I feeling so uncomfortable? It's called jealousy. This happens in like everything. You said you were helping Rumple with his curse, yes? She turns to me. There's no worry, I can help him now. That is what couples do. I have to force the pity out of my heart. I have to force myself to think rationally. Something still seems off about this. Yes, it does. But Rumple remembers. Which means this is the truth, isn't it? I am still his partner or ... Oh, I don't know what to choose. ... or I am still his partner. I don't know, because it's like, what is the ... supposed to lead to? Like me saying like, no, you're not going? Is it just, yeah, you go? Like it's... I think I'll say I'm still his partner? I still feel something is wrong. Don't trust this woman. Do you know anything about him, do you? Oh. Have you helped him regain any of his memories? Actually, yes, I did. She was with me when I regained my memories. Noct is a very valuable good luck charm. Thank you. Yeah! Haha. Rumple flashes a small smile at me before turning to Bria. Her eyes seem a lot colder now. Haha. Tell me. What do you go by now? Until we figure out your name, I need something to call you. Rumple. Bria's cold gaze falls on me and I can sense something in them that surprises me. Jealousy? Why would she be jealous of me? Rumple, would you maybe want to come back home with me? What? I know you must be overwhelmed, but our home might be able to help you remember some things. This might be a witch. I'm sorry. I actually have a patient somewhere else that I need to tend to. Bria's eyes flash briefly, and frown is there for a few seconds before she smiles again. You always were good with your patients. I'm sorry. It's okay. I understand that you're overwhelmed. But remember, now I'm here for you too. I want to mend things, to make them go back to what they were before. Before you cheated on him? Is that what happened? Is that what happened? How about you look over that journal and then we meet again tomorrow? We can take this one step at a time, one lie at a time. I would like that. We can get to know each other again. In time, I'm sure you'll remember what we used to have. I loved you, and I did too, in the past tense. Oh, just kidding. I still do. A slight shiver runs down my spine as I stare at the two of them. There's that uncomfortable feeling once again. Time for the stream, Adam Daniels. Yeah, I saw that. I saw your comments coming up while I was streaming. There's that uncomfortable feeling once again. Bria and Rumpel agree on a spot to meet tomorrow, and then she leans up to kiss Rumpel on the cheek. Oh. He puts a hand on his cheek as she walks off with a gentle smile on her face. Are you okay? He looks at me, and for a few moments I feel that his gaze lingers longer than it normally does on my own eyes. Then he smiles and laughs. Of course I am, Princess. I just remembered something about my own past. I'm guessing that the second entry has appeared in my journal by now. I can't wait to get back to the market to read it. Bria has the rest of my journal, so I might truly be able to remember everything if I talk to her. Including your love for her? Oh. He sighs out before he proclaims that we should finish our errands. I follow him around the town through the scenery. Oh, though the scenery lacks its usual vibrancy. Rumpel doesn't speak to anyone, not even the girls, while we walk. He keeps his eyes focused on the ground, and when he speaks to the shop owners, his chair is lukewarm at best. I try to start a conversation with him many times, but he shies away from talking. I feel like there's something he's not telling me. When we arrive at the Marchen, Rumpel quickly excuses himself, not even sharing his epiphany about his past with him. Why is him so bent out of shape? He just regained another memory. I'm assuming he's going to go read about it now. Not like him to hide things. I hope Rumpel's okay. It has been about a week since Rumpel regained his last memory. He's been meeting with Bria since then. But he still hasn't told me about the memory from the journal. He doesn't flirt with any girls, and when he sees me, his smile looks broken. He spends his days visiting Bria and tending to Parfait. No love? Oh, well, I didn't read them. I just saw that you were leaving them. I'll read them later. He does not flirt with any... he spends days with Bria. Okay. You're worried about Rumpel, aren't you? Why would I be worried about him? Because Rumpel is no longer able to run errands with me, Waltz decided to take his place. But Waltz's presence cannot make up for Rumpel's absence. Rip? He'll be fine, Princess. He's still figuring things out. I don't trust that woman. His fiancée? He appeared out of nowhere. People who aren't cursed can't find a tavern, Princess. She would never have been able to find him. So really, the only place she could have met him was out here in nowhere. I can tell he's teasing me, but it does little to lift my spirits. I know, Walt says. If you don't trust her, why not just ask around for her? She obviously doesn't want to talk to me. No, I mean ask others about her. So long as you find a way to phrase your intentions honestly, I think they might understand you. Rumpel says my honesty is good, but I also know that the way I speak frustrates many people. She's like Paris Geller. It's funny. Come on, I'll help. Waltz approaches a flower shop where several people are gathered to look at the fresh flowers. Excuse me, madam, sir. I was wondering if you knew anything about someone named Bria. We hear that she's engaged to a friend of ours, but he hasn't said much about her. No, everyone calls me blunt, but I'd never question others so openly. Does Waltz really expect the people to be so open to him? Oh, if it isn't Waltz doing a little investigative work, are you? Just looking to find out more about someone important to a friend. Not going to put this into one of your shows, are you? Waltz raises an eyebrow and laughs. Of course not. Everyone just trusts Waltz. I suppose he must speak to people so often. I suppose he must speak to people often, being a performer. They would probably never suspect Waltz to do anything morally questionable. And yet with me, they were suspicious of everything I did. Guess it's a good thing Waltz is here. I stifle a sigh as the so-called investigation begins. But Bria, I was under the impression that her fiancé wasn't seeing her anymore.
Bria? Oh, poor Bria. I hear that the poor dear made a mistake and that her fiancé threw her out for it.
Made a mistake.
She engaged to someone new now? I'm not surprised given the affair that she had on her first fiancé.
Oh, the affair. Excuse me, what did you just say?
Oh, you aren't aware? I'm terribly sorry. Perhaps I shouldn't have said anything.
You said she's cheated on her first fiancé?
She was engaged to some man, a doctor, I believe. He was a good man, always smart, helped everyone, including the poor. You don't see how she would have the gall to do it, but the rumors state that she was seeing another man.
Ha ha, I knew it.
I think I saw them out together sometimes. He was a rich businessman.
Who was he?
I believe he was one of the doctor's patients.
Did anyone see this for sure, ma'am?
Oh, lots of people did, and that's why the poor man stopped seeing her, bless his heart. He looked heartbroken. But then the two of them were engaged, so she should have been more committed to him.
Yes, she should have been. I was thinking that, like, his curse was like a reflection of her actions or something. When Bria first approached Rumple, she had no idea he had amnesia. She started apologizing to him. Oh, yeah, she did. See, when I read that, I thought that she was making fun of him or something. That's why I read it all weird. I didn't realize she was actually saying it herself. Was it for that affair, or am I just speculating? We thanked the woman for her help, before continuing to ask her around town for more information. The more we hear, the more certain we become. You cheated on him. Princess, I know what you're thinking, but it would be incredibly rash to go tell Rumple about this. But she's lying to him. I can still remember the sadness in his eyes. Maybe somewhere deep down he still knows. Did his journal entry not say anything? You can try talking to him, Princess, but without any evidence. We're just going off of rumors. If you were wrong, I think that would hurt the situation a lot more. I'm forced to acknowledge Waltz's reasoning. As much as I want to tell Rumple right now, I don't even know where he is. We finish our errands for the day and then return to the Martin, where I complete my chores around the tavern before retiring to bed. Later that night, after turning for hours in bed without any successive sleep, I make my way downstairs for a glass of milk. I stop abruptly at the sound of hushed voices. Parfait and Rumple are sitting together at a table, their voices soft.
It means a lot to me that you're still taking care of me, even with everything that you have on your plate.
When things are uncertain as they are right now, the little things that remain the same are actually comforting.
What? No compliments tonight?
Oh, he clears his throat. Lady Parfait, I always find comfort in your presence.
Your heart's not in it, is it? Please don't stress yourself out trying to take care of me. I've seen the orders of the medicines and the dosages. I can take care of myself, Rumple.
I owe you and Lady Dolores for letting me stay here. Even now you could have kicked me out, yet I'm still here.
This isn't the confident Rumple that I'm used to seeing. It's rather heartbreaking to see you like this, you know?
Parfait's eyes drift past Rumple and she sees me before I can dart away.
I think you're worrying your partner too.
Rumple turns in his seat and stares at me. Princess? I slowly make my way toward them. I'm sorry, Princess. I haven't been trying to help you at all. It's fine. Parfait's right, though. Not like you to be so pitiful. Ah, your words are still sharp as ever. I glance at Parfait curiously. The light of the tavern lights her face up dimly, making it look more ghostly than usual. She looks sickly.
Do you think I look like a ghost, Princess?
Yes.
By the time night comes around, I'm utterly exhausted.
You said you were like this because of the Tenebrum Lucius you have to take care of.
That's correct. I used to be able to watch over it more easily, But now with the balance between both crystals lost in the kingdom, it's getting harder. This responsibility is a big burden. It's a heavy toll on my body. But that doesn't diminish any of my pride. I am proud to bear this responsibility. Someone needs to do it. And I'm very glad I can help so many people through bearing this burden. What would happen if you just let the responsibility go? There would be even more chaos than there is now. Then what if the Tenebrae bearer, would they not help you with your stress? There is no Tenebrae bearer currently. What? Parfait stares at me for a few moments, a complicated expression on her face. Then suddenly, sighs. Please do not worry about me, Princess. I've lived a good life. I just want to do more good while I still live. And I'm very lucky to be surrounded by so many good people. Anyway, the two of you should be off to bed soon. I can tell you're both tired. Parfait pauses to look at me, eyebrows slightly arched. Oh, but before you go, there was something I meant to ask you. Ask me? Parfait crosses her arms and looks at me tersely for a few moments. The look is so unlike her that it almost concerns me. She looks uncertain of something, but I cannot imagine what it is. What could she want to discuss with me? I wanted to ask if you were free the day after tomorrow. I'm free whenever my schedule says I am. And if you could spare 20 or so minutes, I want to speak with you about something very important. Important? Suppose you could say it's related to your curse. Fine. Parfait smiles at us before walking back to her room, leaving me alone with Rumpel. Rumpel smiles at me uncertainly. For a few moments I think he might actually talk to me, but then he rushes off after giving me an apology. It like rhymed. I watch him walk up the stairs, my heart sinking. I need to know what's going on with him. Today is my day off. I keep on the lookout for Rumpel. Eventually I see him making his way down the staircase. He does not look quite as disheartened as last night, but his expression is still rather somber. He says good morning to everyone as he usually does, and then walks out through the front door. That is my cue. Following behind Rumpel without being seen proves to be remarkably easy. Even if he is perceptive, he won't be expecting me to follow him after him when I normally work during these hours. He makes his way through the town until he comes to a stop at a little cafe in the main plaza. It is cleverly hidden, just slightly out of view, not at all in plain view like the rest of the shops. Bria is sitting waiting for him at a table with a journal. The way she smiles at him numbs my heart. I make my way over to the nearby fountain and crouch beside it to keep out of view. I can hear their conversation, just barely, from where I sit. You know, I've been searching for you a long time when I saw you. You suddenly disappeared from the house one night and I couldn't find you. Why did I leave the house? I don't know. Was it a fight? Oh, no, not a fight. We barely ever fought. We made a promise when you gave me this ring. We promised we would never make each other sad. I closed my eyes and breathed. Why did I say breathed? Bria's words drive a bitterness through my heart after everything I heard. It is possible those rumors were baseless, but isn't it also possible that they were the truth? And Rumpel mentioned a fight. Now is my chance to tell him. Interrupt the conversation or reconsider. I might as well interrupt. I'm already here. I step out from behind the fountain and slowly make my way over to the table. Bria looks up and around. After a few moments, her eyes fall on me. She immediately scowls. What are you doing here? I came to see if you were lying to Rumpel. What? Is there something wrong, Miss Partner? Not with me, but perhaps with you. Excuse me? You seem to have quite the reputation. Princess, I have no idea what you're talking about, but taking people's words at face value is foolish. Mother would have said the same thing, but why would they lie? So it is not true that you were seeing another man? Oh, how dare you! Bria stands up and glares at me. I frown back at her. Her anger does not faze me. She seems like a petulant child.
I can't stand jealous girls. They're the bane of my existence. And you're what, 18? 17? Well, what does that even matter? Either way, there'd just be about a 6-year age gap between you two. Oh, look at him! 24! Gods, am I really so ancient? Oh my god, you stop that. The two of us look at him in unison, then back at each other. I'm here because I want to help my partner, because you are lying to him. And who are you to say that I'm lying? You're a terrible little spy is what you are, hiding places to watch us, going around town asking about me. I'm telling you now that Rumpel doesn't need you, especially if you're the one spewing lies. Those words have no weight coming from a hypocrite. Wait, ladies. Rumpel looks between the two of us, eyebrows furrowed. Then he shakes his head. Bria, I knew. It was in my journal. What? Rumpel faces Bria, his expression crumpled. Her name just makes me think of Brie, which just makes me think of feta cheese. It's making me hungry. It was that lord, wasn't not that Brie is feta cheese, but, you know, it's cheese. It was that lord, wasn't it? The one I refused to take money from that one time I helped him. He told me himself. Oh, rip. I think that's why this feeling inside of me is so mute right now, why I was always having second thoughts about your stories. Bria, why didn't you ever tell me you were seeing him? I asked you that question back then too, but you never told me. So I was waiting for you to bring it up again. I was waiting for you to explain. I was waiting for... As if I could ever get anything through that thick skull of yours. Well, even I cannot stop myself from staring at her when she insults Rumpel. But with this, she has admitted that the rumors are true. What? Even if I explained myself, all you would ever say was that you were sorry, but nothing ever changed. What did I do that was so wrong? Look at you! Even now you can't bring yourself to be angry at me. You knew the truth, and instead of demanding to know why I did what I did, you keep asking what you did wrong. But you'll never realize what you did wrong, Rumpel. Never. Something's never changed. Bria scowls as she makes her way around the table. Rumpel tries to call her back, but Bria only frowns as she walks off. Rumpel lets out a long sigh. And there go all of my journals, too. Oh, rip! Right, he said that Bria had all of his old journals. I'm sorry. Huh? And he made things worse. Still not entirely sure what they were talking about, but... Princess, you don't have to apologize for anything. Though... Oh! I would like you to apologize for shedding some light on my age. Oh, rip. Oh, Rumpel. What? Am I really, truly that old? Suddenly he looks disgruntled, but the look of distraught on his face is almost comical. I cannot help it when I smile and start to laugh. Oh! Do my ears deceive me? Is that wonderful sound coming from your mouth, princess? How precious! I like how she's 17, getting with all these people who are in their 20s. Actually, that's not a problem in New Zealand now that I think about it. Because the age of consent in New Zealand is 16, so... Never mind. It's just... You're an old man. If I am an old man, then I'm young at heart. Besides, I would be a lot more offended if you weren't smiling when you said that. After a few moments, Rumpel sighs and shakes his head. Sorry you had to see all that. I knew there was more to the story than Bria was letting on because I read the memory in my journal. You knew about the nobleman? Why did she not say anything? Like I said, I was waiting for her to say something. I wanted her to open up about it, honestly. Bria is undoubtedly bold. Doubt she's honest. A journal entry. I never read it to you. You have been distant the last week. I have been. I'm sorry for that. But allow me to enlighten you. Rumpel gestures to the chair that Bria had been sitting in, and I take a seat opposite him. First, the nobleman was one of my patients. He had a grievous sickness, one that no one else had been able to cure. Cannot help but remember the little boy with the impossible sickness. It seemed he was drawn to... Oh, sorry. I cannot help but remember the little boy with the impossible sickness. It seemed he was drawn to Rumpel too. Rumpel was not able to help that boy on his own either. Some woman offered her assistance. Did you manage to cure him with the help of that same woman? Another cryptic entry, but yes, the mysterious woman from the first entry reappears. We strike another deal, but I cannot remember the deal at all. All I know is that afterwards I did something to make Bria hate me, and she began seeing the nobleman. Or maybe it was before that. Maybe she was just unhappy. She won't explain why. She still cheated on you. That's her fault, not yours. Rumpel nods absently, until he's not convinced. In any case, even though I can't remember the entirety of what happened, every time I thought of Bria, I thought of our love in the past tense. Rumpel frowns, but it is fleeting. Suddenly, he's smiling again. Let's head back for now, Princess. I'll figure out how to reach Bria later. I follow Rumpel back to the Martin, though he seems fine for a time. Rumpel's somberness returns as we head back. He looks like he's trapped in his thoughts. He needs the rest of his journals, but how's he going to get a hold of them now? I didn't get a thing, did I? Rip.
Oh, Princess, you're here. Sorry we're late.
My, the princess is gracing us with her presence. Parfait said a few days ago that she had something to discuss with me, so I'm here. Then let's get right to it, shall we? She plops down on one of the chairs and Parfait sits down gracefully beside her.
Princess, the other day you asked me about my responsibility and, briefly, about the Tenenbaum bearer.
I did, but what does this have to do with me? It has everything to do with you, because when it comes to that second inquiry, the answer is right here. Delora points at me. I stare at her, not comprehending.
Princess, the bearer to the Crystallum Tenenbaum is you.
What? Not able to even feel shock, just confusion. But how do I have anything to do with these crystals? See, I told you she'd be confused.
It's because we started backwards. I'm so sorry, Princess.
I don't understand.
Remember the story about the crystals, Princess?
For a time, the crystals were in complete balance. Even the witches who drew on negative energy were respected. Then one day, Hans wrote the fairy tales. Witches were suddenly painted as villains. Humans attacked the witches, trying to drive them out.
Their leader, who just so happened to be my best friend, was hard-pressed to try to keep the peace. She was the original bearer of the crystal. But as witches were killed and thrown out, she found her patience wearing thin. We've already heard the story before.
She killed a human, the ultimate taboo, and there was nothing we could do but try to stop her.
This bearer, the leader of the witches, and bearer of the Crystallum Tenenbaum, is someone you know, or someone you knew.
She erased all of your memories, made you think that the fairy tales were evil, that humans were terrible. I feel something dark stirring inside of me. Sharp pain cuts through my heart, making it hard to breathe.
The previous bearer of the crystal was your mother, Princess Hildur, the leader of the witches.
That is impossible. Mother was not a witch. But she was the strongest of us all. I'm surprised I can't skip this, but okay. Because I'm pretty sure we saw this last time. When she died, she kept some of her maybe it wasn't the exact same scene. When she died, she kept some of her power sealed within the crystal, which is why it still allows the fairy tale curse to be spread. What kind of lie is this? I can't use magic. My mother never told me that she was a witch. She would have told me. It sounds like it, doesn't it? But I assure you, Princess, we wouldn't ever lie to you about something like this. It's impossible as it seems. You are a witch.
Your power won't manifest until you're 18, and at that time you will inherit control of the crystal.
Since your birthday is soon, this was the last chance we had to teach you goodness. Your mother's been shielding you from it for so long, we trusted you were different from her. And you are. But Mother was the only one that ever loved me. She stole away your memories and made you hate the world.
Laura.
She was fostering hatred in you, making you just like her. You do not know anything about Mother. I stand up, rage coiling inside of me like a snake.
Noct, I know a lot about her, more than you will ever know.
No. The truth is hard, the truth is hard, Princess, but eventually we will all have to face it.
Hilda was my beloved friend. Facing her was the hardest thing I've ever done. We only want to help you.
Well, you're not very good at it. turn on my heels and storm out of the room. I feel that there was more to what Delore and Parfait wanted to say to me, but I cannot stand to hear it right now. Whew. I walk into the clearing and sit against a tree, furiously rubbing at my eyes as I try to clear my dangerously watery eyes, showing a motionless weak. I sit there for a long time in the clearing trying to calm. My thoughts spin wildly out of control. Princess? I see him at the corner of my eyes, standing between two trees, his eyebrows knit together with worry. What, were you listening? Listening? No, I just came to look for you in your room, and when I came downstairs, Parfait told me you'd run out into the forest. May I sit next to you? I say nothing as he walks over to me. He sits down beside me, his hands resting on his knees as he looks up at the canopies of the trees. Thank you for today, Princess, for coming after me and trying to make things right. I'm not in the mood to talk about this right now. My thoughts are too scrambled. Sometimes truths are hard. How do you know it was the truth? The feeling. Right? How's it going? Oh, big straight teeth. I understand. He looks at me and his eyes seem to glimmer softly in the moon. Would you like someone to listen to your problems, Princess? Oh, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do, Nutter? There it is. You have to sit on over there. Get flat. What do you think I should do, What do you think I should do? I'm really not sure if I should, like, open up to him or if I should continue to push him away. No. Which one, Naru? Which one should I choose? Maybe I'll talk to him. No, maybe I'll stay silent. Nah, I told him. I rub at my eyes as Rumple looks at me with a quiet smile. Oh, Rip. Sorry. I'm sorry. You're just a fraction too late. He could be talking about his own problems, but instead he's trying to comfort me. Parfait and Delore told me... Oh, Parfait and Delore told me about something they were keeping hidden from me. They told me something about Mother. And it doesn't make any sense to me because everything that they're saying makes her a villain. Even villains are often misunderstood or have trying circumstances. Rumple slowly reaches out to rest his hand on top of mine. I sit up straight and stare at him, my eyes wide. Rumple smiles at me, a slow, soft smile that crinkles the edges of his eyes. Seeing such a beautiful lady close to tears makes my heart break, you know. But if you ever need to cry, you should. Tears aren't weakness, they're just a form of expression, and even the strongest of us cry. I am not going to cry. My mind reels and then starts to feel fuzzy. Definitely the Ice Prince. The title startles me out of my thoughts. I stare at him pointedly, beginning to grimace, but Rumple just smiles. I always thought it was a delicate name, suitable for— I turned him to an old man for a second. Suitable for a strong and beautiful woman. Seeing you like this, it makes me realize that the name suits you. Perhaps if everyone else meant it that way, it wouldn't be so terrible a title. Rumple slowly takes his hand away and smiles. Though he insists on hearing me out, I insist on the opposite. For now, I want to keep what I discussed with Parfait and Delore to myself. I still need time to process it. For tonight, I just want to forget that the conversation ever happened. For some time, I didn't get a thing. For some time, the two of us are silent. There are no words exchanged between the two of us, but the silence is comfortable. Then eventually, Rumple puts his hand on my shoulder. Things will work out, Princess. I hope so. I stand and excuse myself. Good night, Rumple. turn and walk up. Night, my sweet. Rip. Chapter 7. Oh my god. Muddled truths. Oh, sunflower. Okay, well, I think I might end the stream here for today. And I will stream some more of this on Sunday, most probably. But before I leave, say thank you everybody for coming. I appreciate you coming, and also thank you, as always, to my patrons. Those who would like to become a patron, you can have a look at the link there, and have a look at all the rewards and things. There's some things there. But otherwise, I will see you on Sunday, and I hope you have a good weekend. Yeah. Bye-bye.